Welcome to episode 15 of the current backloggers. The date is May 21st. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co host, Cody G. Cody, how's it going?
Hello. Oh, it's okay. Things could be worse.
Yeah,
Um,
you told me your basement flooded.
yeah, if you could tell, it's a change of venue. I'm in my kitchen right now. I've set up my kitchen. I My supervisor was at work, and we have a weather radio because we have to listen to the weather and give updates to people that works at the building. And it doesn't make any sense because we have Google now, but it was going off a bunch, and it's never done that before. And it's like, okay, so it's probably getting some rain. And then my supervisor's like, hey, my wife just called. Our backyard's flooded, and it's picked up a bunch of our stuff, and it's moving, and I have to leave. And I was like, oh shit, I wonder what's happened in my house. And so I called my girlfriend, and she went and checked, and um, oh, that's what was happening in my basement. Some Corona.
There's just a man sneezing down there.
But yeah, it was flooded. So I rushed home. They let me leave a little bit early. I rushed home, and it was definitely flooded. I was kind of freaking out because it was like an inch of water. But when we called our parents, we probably sounded really dramatic because we were kind of running around, didn't know what to do. So we called our parents, said there was water in the basement. It was flooded. And I guess there's a difference between flooded and getting water in your basement because like all of our parents were like thinking there was, I don't know, like standing water, which I guess is, I don't know. I've been learning a lot about flooding. It's been pretty interesting. But yeah, so they came over and we cleaned out my game room. Which kind of sucks. I just set it up, but cleaned it all out and got some humidifiers running. I took the carpet out. It's all of the trims out of the game room right now, so it's literally just a cement floor and drywall right now with a bunch of fans. So it's gonna be a minute before it's all set back up.
Damn.
You might be seeing more kitchen views.
Yeah, the picture looks a lot better, and I feel like it looks a lot more natural there, actually. It's kind of weird.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, in the game room or here?
here, surprisingly.
Oh wow, it's probably because I don't have the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was using some goofy lighting in the basement. But yep. So now I look like every video game conference / sports thing right now of a guy awkwardly sitting in his house with a webcam. And I forgot to mention last week we also got a puppy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's been pretty crazy. Um, I haven't had a puppy or really a dog since I haven't had a dog since I lived with my parents, but I haven't had a puppy since, let's see, because when you adopt now, there's a crazy interview process. Did you know that?
I
I probably
remember.
told you.
Yeah, you told me I didn't know about, though.
Whoa, man, it's a background check. They come and they look at your house. They ask you trick questions like a job interview, like, so what do you think about this leash? And you're thinking in your mind, like, this is just a regular leash. Like, what's the deal here? And some of them are obvious, like it's like those chokers where where you have this like metal prongs that stick in your dog's neck, shit
Yeah.
like that. You're like, oh, definitely not this one. But so yeah, it's been weird. And then while all this flooding stuff was happening, the puppy got sick, and like, the hell's going on? So I had to take it to the vet. Um, yeah, puppy's pretty pretty crazy. I haven't had one since because that was part of the interview process. They're like, when's the last time you had a puppy? And I was like, let's see, we got my dog in like 99, 98. And then I had another puppy in like, I was in middle school. So it's been a while, and I realized my parents put up with all that crazy shit while I just enjoyed a puppy. Um, yeah, so that's it. And I just ramped up. It was kind of funny because the eBay room was the first room to flood where I have all my eBay stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I just put up the most listings I ever posted and had everything up there. And then so I was freaking out because I just put them up. And I was like, what got damaged? But nothing really got too damaged with the eBay stuff.
Nice.
So what? While this is going on, I'm thankful, but I don't know, like maybe 12 items sold. So it's like a matter of packing that up. So it's been nuts.
And then
But
what you sold is gonna pay for the basement, right?
that's right. Thank God for insurance, though.
Yeah.
They really stepped in and picked up and helped us a lot.
Do you think?
Um, what's that?
Do you think during that interview portion of the dog, they have to really trick Michael Vick, or do you think he's just extra confused? They're like, the spike ones. Oh yeah, that's the one. Wait.
I actually during this I posted my Michael Vick jersey, trying to get rid of a bunch of old shit from what I've had forever, and I
Yeah.
just threw it up to see if someone would want it. But yeah, I don't know who the hell would say yes to that part. Some of them, it's like, would you buy them bark collars that shock them when they bark? Kind of like, well, I kind of know what side they're on, so you say no to
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it's been pretty weird, man. But it's these guys that came to clean the basement though. They like bring the fans and dehumidifiers.
Mhm.
He was like telling me all this because right now in Ohio and Michigan there's a lot of flooding, so there's a lot of claims. Like
Mhm.
my adjuster had to come from Boston. Thankfully, he
Good.
doesn't have that ridiculous accent.
That's good.
But he said that he's dealing with like 300-400 claims right now. And we actually pretty lucky compared to what some of these things they were telling me. Like some people had like, I don't know, 8 feet of water in their basement, shit like that.
Yeah.
That's weird to think about. He said their basement, like their split level, so it was like flush with their floor. That'd be so weird to see.
Uh-huh.
Um, so we're incredibly lucky. But these guys they were fucking interesting to talk to, man. Because I didn't realize they also. It's like, yeah, it's as much easier than the bio jobs, and I was like, hell's a bio job? So I was like, what's a bio job? He's like, a bio job? Yeah, what is that? A bio job. Yeah, so what is that? Oh, that's like suicides and murders. Oh, Jesus Christ. And he got really graphic. He's like, yep, I've cleaned human teeth out of concrete before. Oh, damn. Yep. Tell you what, last month we had a suicide where the girl in our apartment shot herself in the head, and it's pretty crazy. What you got to be careful when you're shooting yourself because she shot herself and the gun fell down, and when she died, she pulled the trigger again and almost shot her roommate. Oh, okay. He's like giving me advice on how to successfully shoot yourself without accidentally shooting your roommate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're about to do something like that, you're not really worried about what's gonna happen after.
Yeah. And then he's telling me like, yeah, I've cleaned brain matter out of carpets. And I was like, holy shit, you guys get paid extra for that? Nope, same rate. Oh shit. Yep. The worst ones though is where they sit for a while, and then he got just way too graphic about rigor mortis and um, the process of cleaning out shit. And then he was like, at this time, this is before I knew they did all this stuff. I thought purely they were water cleanup. So he comes to my house and they're both wearing masks. He's like, hey man, quick question. Can we take the mask off, or are you concerned about the corona thing? I'm like, I'm not too concerned about it. He's like, yeah, we get tested daily. And I was like, okay. I was like, tested daily? That's kind of excessive. Then he takes it off, and then after he tells me about cleaning up suicides, then he's like, we got a corona cleanup after this. We were just there, but we couldn't clean it up. So we came and did yours. We're going to go do the corona cleanup. I thought maybe it was like what the hell's a corona cleanup? So once again, I was like, a corona cleanup is, yeah, a corona cleanup? Yeah, well, what is that? Corona, you know what that is? Yeah, that's what we're cleaning up. I was like, so what do you mean? Like you're cleaning an office building? Or so essentially what it is you just have someone that has corona, and you go into their house and you clean up their wherever they worked at and everywhere they've been. I was like, oh, you should have told me that before you asked if you could take off your mask. But he assured me they get tested daily and they wear crazy hazmat suits when they do it. But yeah, so I learned a lot about this company. I had no idea they did this shit.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and I did some of the carpeting. Like I pulled out all the carpeting and the foam padding and put up in my own dehumidifier and fans.
Hmm.
And it's almost like he's kind of offended. He's like, "Hey, you did most of our work for us." He was almost like pissed off that he. Then he tried to push off another dehumidifier on us, and his coworker was like, "No, this is a pretty small area. Are you sure? I think we need one more over here." It's like, Jesus, dude. Like, these things are $25 a day to rent, and then we got to keep an extra day too because of the holiday.
Oh yeah.
So, so I'm pretty sure we're just gonna get charged for the holiday when we
Hmm.
don't really technically probably need them.
That sucks.
Yeah, I think it's $250 a day. I think there's 10 of them, $25 each.
I gotcha.
So what is that? $1,000 just in rentals.
Hmm.
But they're pretty nice. He said his coworker didn't charge me for taking out some trim. But yeah, it's been. I mean, I learned a lot about insurance, and I guess too with the corona going on, insurance agents don't want to come to your house or the what are they, adjusters.
Hmm.
So you just call them on the phone and say this is what happened, and they're cool.
Hmm.
Um, he was super nice. Or I thought for sure at some point we'd run into an asshole with this whole process because then our house warranty they had to come out and fix our sump pump, and I was like, this guy's gonna be a huge asshole. And everybody's been super nice and super
Yeah.
helpful, um, and we're incredibly lucky. It's just an inch of water. We were freaking out. There's an inch of water in here, but then everyone else kind of like, oh, dude, you guys kind of got lucky.
Yeah. We haven't had anything luckily at all, but it seems like yeah, everywhere it's flooding. I'm sure you've seen they've closed some parts of the highways down here, and
It's crazy.
I don't know if you've seen any pictures of downtown lately, the Scioto River by like the where we always ride bikes and scooters and everything. There's two sidewalks, so it's not this isn't as bad as it sounds, but the lower sidewalk is completely covered with water, and like all the trees that are in between the sidewalks, those look like they're planted underwater because the water's so high.
Holy cow, man.
So probably, I would guess it has to be like 10 feet of difference. Obviously, I don't really know, but just thinking about how much space that is, I feel like it has to be at least like 10 feet.
Jeez, man. Did you see? Have you seen Creekside yet?
No.
It's kind of gone down a little bit. We noticed today, but Creekside is, you know, that bridge when you drive across downtown Gahanna. There's a bridge and there's a
Yeah.
park off to the right.
Hmm.
It's all river now. You know, all those paths and those the
Uh-huh.
little building to rent paddle boats. That's all underwater.
Huh. That's
So if you want
crazy.
to go look at something crazy, sometime just go drive by that.
Yeah, I wanted to go downtown when I saw those pictures because, oh, that is crazy. I can't even picture what it would look like because all that land that is there is all covered with water. It wasn't just like usually when the water rises, people are like, oh, look at the water. It's crazy high, but you can't really tell the difference. But like I said, it's real obvious when you can see a sidewalk's missing and all the trees that are in between those two sidewalks are looking like they're planted underwater. It makes it a lot more obvious.
That's nuts, man. I heard there's a dam that broke in Michigan and drained a whole lake.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, you should look up some pictures of that. It's kind of weird. It's a whole lake where people can go out to the deepest part of the lake, and it just looks like a beach.
Mm-hmm. Huh. That's crazy.
Well, there's where I grew up in, where I graduated high school from. There was a lake there that the the bedrock had got a crack in it or something, and it drained the whole lake. They'd found a dead body um,
Yikes.
from like 100 years prior,
Mm-hmm.
where a guy fell in the lake. They found his wallet and everything, and then they put in a little. It's where they filmed Dirty Dancing, so they have a museum for Dirty Dancing. But at the end of it, they have a little section now for all of his belongings and some of the. Um, I don't want to exaggerate, but at one point, I'm pretty sure they had the remains on display, like they got permission from the family or something like that,
Jesus.
right?
Um, you been up to anything else besides all that madness, guy?
Nope, just working on eBay stuff and running around and meeting all these different maintenance men. They like to talk too, man. They will
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
talk to you for a while about how you should fix things and how you should do stuff, and I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about right now.
Yeah, you remember at our old job, anytime somebody came in to fix something, that's how every conversation went.
You you know that concrete mix you get down at Home Depot, the little gray package? And yeah, you're gonna need some of that out here. Yeah, I'll do that.
Um,
And it seems like every person has something. It's always different too.
yeah. I don't know if you've actually seen it before we started recording, but I see you finally upgraded your hat, but then there's this fucking miserable shirt to pair with it. So it's kind of worse than just not wearing that beautiful hat. Yep,
Do
there
you
it is.
do you watch the Building the Browns?
No, we talked about it, but I haven't seen it.
I actually just a bunch of guys at work that don't even like the Browns watch it. I couldn't imagine watching that for a team. Like I can't even watch is it HBO
Yeah, Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. I can't even watch that except for the Brown season. Um, like the Raiders, like I couldn't imagine watching that or a
Yeah.
team you didn't like.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's a team I'm kind of indifferent about or kind of like, even if it's not the Broncos, I can maybe watch. But if it's a team I actually hate, I cannot watch that.
Especially right now, the episodes they're usually really good episodes, but they're all just Zoom calls, kind of similar to the game conferences.
Uh huh. Um, I got you. Well, I don't really want to talk about what I've been up to, not because it's anything bad, but it's just I feel like it's the same thing every week. Last week I at least had something different, but normal 40-hour work week. Next week I took some overtime. Besides that, all the normal stuff, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good to have work still, but I just wish we had different stuff to talk about each week.
You want me to flood your basement?
Yeah, there we go. It'd be perfect. I already had that crazy Pennywise decoration in like the deep basement,
Oh
so that
Jesus,
would
yeah.
stick out. It'd be perfect. Um, so anything random you want to talk about before we get going, guy?
Um, no, no, nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
I just got a couple things. One of them is more controversial, but it shouldn't be, but it definitely is. So I guess we could start with that one. Did you hear about the rule the NFL is talking about changing if you hire a minority coach?
Yeah,
Yeah, that you get higher draft picks or move up higher in the rounds if you hire a minority coach.
I did see that.
I get, I feel like talking about it's even hard because people are just instantly, you're racist if you don't agree with it. But I feel like it's quite the opposite. You can tell me how you feel and if you're feeling different. I don't want to be like ESPN or CNN or any of these things that just intentionally try and argue with each other. But I definitely want us to be able to talk and debate things or disagree. So um, I get where they're coming from in a way because I don't know the percentage, but majority of coaches in the NFL are definitely white. So I get what they're trying to do, but I feel like trying to do that is actually racist in itself because you're incentivizing hiring a certain race, even if they are the minority right now. You're trying to profit or push them up, which also I don't see how that's not discrimination against the law. But even then, if you look at it that way, if you try and see it from their perspective, I feel like that argument falls apart real fast when you could talk about the players in the NFL and 90% of them are black, and I could care less that they are. There's obviously a reason that majority of them are black. Everybody has the exact same chance to do it, and they're the better ones, so they should get the jobs. They shouldn't be like, well, there's a lot of black people in this league, so we're gonna give some white players some contracts. No, they white players don't need it unless they can beat out the black player. It shouldn't be about their fucking skin color.
Yeah, I think it also kind of reminds me of that argument that's always had about quarterbacks too.
Yeah,
Majority of quarterbacks are white. I don't know how truthful it is. I might have to look into that, but yeah, I don't agree with it. Somebody brought up a good point that if you do something successful as a coach or staffing or whatever, you're always going to think like, man, I didn't earn this, or I got helped along,
mm-hmm.
and that kind of pissed me off. I feel like, do I actually deserve this? I'm glad it's all internal though. Like it's a meeting of the owners, right? So it's all.
Yeah, they're taking a vote, and it has to be, I think, 24 of the 32 have to push it through.
But at the same time, it's yeah. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense. If you are a good coach, you'll get hired. I think if you have the qualifications, that's what it should be based on. It shouldn't be based on race or gender. I don't know if they're talking about gender.
Not yet, but I'm sure that's only a matter of time. Um, but because there has been assistant coaches recently that have been female, and that's been a lot of discussion that if they actually were good enough to be it, not because they're female, but because did they actually beat out a guy or did they just get hired because they're female and they're like, well, we need this. So I feel like that's definitely the next big point because there's already becoming assistant coaches, which again, if they're good enough to be assistant coach, then who gives a shit? But it's a fact of if they are actually the most talented or not.
Yeah, I think that just this is going to hover over those coaches' heads. Like, man, did I get this because I'm black or I'm Asian or what? I don't think it's really a black or white thing, man. If you look at the staffing, it's usually another crazy part about staffing too. It's almost always usually ex-football players as well.
Yeah.
That'd be like saying you'll get a benefit if you hire someone that hasn't played football before, or somebody that's Asian, or because I can't name a single staff member that's Asian on
Yeah,
any
that's
football teams.
that's why I kind of made it black and white because they say minority, but they clearly are talking about black people, and that's what they're worried about, which is also kind of discriminating because, yeah, the chance of there being an Asian coach is so slim, anyways. But if they're really fighting for that, then it shouldn't be about black. It should be about minority, and Asian's definitely more minority than black.
And then where do teams like the Steelers come into play, where they've had an incredibly successful black head coach, or do you remember when the Browns finally canned? Um, oh, why am I blanking on his name? Um,
Oh, Romeo
uh,
Crennel, is that?
Hugh Jackson.
Oh, Hugh Jackson, yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, people try to claim racism on that. It's like, do you understand how many opportunities they gave that guy?
Uh huh.
And I wonder, like, if this was enacted where they had get better draft picks, would they have hung on to him even longer? He was given so many opportunities and immediately picked back up again by the Bengals.
Yeah, that's the part that makes it even more crazy. I feel like it's obviously actual racism trying to do that and discriminating, which like I said, I don't know how to get away with anyways because it's supposed to be against the law. I know places definitely do it, but technically it's supposed to be against the law. But yeah, I feel like it takes it one step farther when you're incentivizing them. They'll get better draft picks. I feel like that's literally trying to ruin like the integrity of the game just to hire a certain person, which is seems so messed up. They did say you'd only move up in the fourth round, which that's not as big a deal. So like if you had a late fourth round pick, you move higher up, which I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous if you move higher up in the last round. But I feel like the headlines did make it sound a lot worse. But like I said, I'm not agreeing with them. Just saying I feel like it could have been a lot worse than that if that is what they do.
Yeah, and then at what point does this stop? I hate
Oh
that. I
yeah.
hate to use this argument, but are you gonna say, okay, so this coach he has to wear a blindfold for the third quarter because he's white?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not that extensive, but it's. I'm trying to compare it to something. Like it's kind of Jesus Christ, my cat's crazy. It's just weird, man. I don't know why that would even be brought up or where this came from.
Yeah, that's why I don't like him. Why I wanted to bring it up because I feel like as soon as you talk about it, then you're looked at as racist. But like I said, I feel like actually talking about it and realizing how ridiculous that is in places the opposite of racism and that you're trying to address that. Like the NHL, I like it, but there's no denying majority of players are white. But
Yeah, but
I
you can
don't.
also make the. I hate when people say that because the majority of those players are Russian and usually have some crazy life or grew up in some Eastern Europe was really bad, especially in the '90s. So I feel like that they've grown up with some crazy shit in their life as well, even though they're technically white.
Oh no, they haven't. Yeah, that's not what I was. What I was saying is more you could look at every league and something has like the NFL has majority of black players, majority of white coaches. The NHL is majority of white players and coaches, I guess. The NBA is majority of black players and black coaches. So I just don't know when you're going to pick and choose. Are you going to start finding the NBA if they don't have more white players, or are you going to realize that there is some kind of connection that obviously more black people play basketball was racism. That's what they like and they play it and they're better at it too. And more white players play hockey, and I feel like there's natural reasons for all these, and it makes sense why there's more of something.
Yeah, I just don't. It just creates more of a divide.
Yeah. Um, Anything else you want to say on that before we move on, Guy?
Um, no, not really. Except that it's just all you're doing now is making those people feel like, did I do this? Did I succeed because of this? And
Yeah.
it's not even really that much of a benefit. They almost seem like they're trying to play both sides,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think they're doing a very good job of it. Because then pretty soon they're going to say, "Oh, I just got a better pick in the fourth round." That's
Yeah.
not enough. Um, it's just I don't like that. That's just odd. But I'm glad it's internal and it's not something that was in that you can vote on it, so you can decide whatever you want.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know where like the Steelers play in that, man. They've had a black coach for a long ass time and it's very successful. Do they get a benefit immediately? I don't know. And
Yeah.
does any staff member? Because then pretty soon they're just gonna hire black people that, oh, this guy organizes the paper clips. We get a benefit? Do we get or is it just head coaches? Do you know?
It's anybody on the coaching staff, so it has to be like it can't be like a trainer or something. It has to be a head coach, assistant coach, defensive coordinator, something like that.
And do you notice? I did notice this, man. I feel like offensive coordinators, especially or your O line, I feel like a majority of them are black.
Um, Maybe O line. I think offensive coordinator. I feel like most time are white, but I don't have it in front of me or anything. That's just from watching games. I feel like that.
Because I
Like,
feel like the Browns have always. So I mean, I bet what we should do when this is over, I'll try to look it up. I bet you, I bet, I guarantee you, most teams probably somewhere. I bet the majority of teams somewhere on the staffing have a black person.
oh, I'm sure they do.
It's just weird.
Yeah, I just feel like all this discussion gets out of control. Like the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. No matter how you feel about that, people would not let go of how he deserves to be on team because of how good he is, and it was all about his statement. Which, like I said, that's separate. No matter how you feel about that, because it was pretty obvious. I mean, again, no matter how you feel about that, that definitely played into it. But also, people were ignoring the fact that he had a great year and then was absolutely terrible. And it's pretty obvious that's what people are doing it for now, and not because of his potential talent. Because Cam Newton had way more impressive season and had to go on for multiple seasons, and nobody signed him, and he's a black quarterback, and nobody gives a shit for some reason. So, and again, I'm not saying somebody should sign him because he's black, but I'm sure saying that's how you can tell things just get picked and choose because people would not shut up and still go on about Colin Kaepernick, but for some reason, another black quarterback that was more successful and still has more potential, they don't bring up and talk about how skillful he is.
Yeah, and then that kind of goes back to Hugh Jackson. Wasn't he supposed to to lead that his training or whatever, where he's supposed to come back? Do you remember that where he's playing for um, to see if he could come back and play?
Oh,
But then
yeah. Uh huh.
yeah. So I wanted to look it up again because I couldn't. It wasn't the O line coach, but the defensive coordinator on the Browns is black.
Oh,
And then I don't know if you Stump Mitchell. I really like him. Um, he's coordinator. Building the Browns, you fucking meet all these guys, and they all seem nice. But I don't know. All the episodes of Building Browns I've watched, there's always been at least one person on the coaching staff. And what, 2 seasons of Building the Browns? The head coach was black. I don't know, man. It's I feel like every team would fall into that
Mhm.
if you're basing off of just staffing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to look into this more, and because I guarantee you, most teams, if they're gonna get that crazy with it, like I don't know, tight ends, wide receivers. I think the wide receiver coach is no, he's white. Okay. But do you know if it's so? It's just coaching staff then?
Yeah, from what I read.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's 21 positions on the coaching staff for the Browns. And I think so far I've seen like uh, maybe 3. So it's like you said, you see where it's coming from. Um, but at the same time, man, black people account for what, 20% of the population?
Yeah, that was another thing I meant to bring up. That obviously they are a minority, and like I said, if you're going to make that argument, then you have to call it all around. And why is there not more white players in the NFL? And like I said, that's an easy answer, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. It's that black players have obviously performed better than them, and so they should be able to play better. So obviously, white
And
coaches have beat them out for a reason, and that's not a racist thing. They just did it better, just like it's not a racist thing that black players are typically better than white players.
let me, I tell you what, I'll do an actual percentage. I mean, 23% of the coaching staff for the Browns are are black. And I don't see any Hispanics and I don't see any Asians.
Mm-hmm.
Good throw this. I know there's no Hispanics or Asians because unless somebody I don't know. So to Smith, yeah, it's looking like what is there 5? Yeah, or actually it might even be more than that. Let's see, 6. Uh, 6 of them. What is that? That's more than. Time to do a little math here. Coming out of school, 28% of the coaching staff for the Browns is black. And I'm thinking like the only teams that come to mind that I could think of, maybe the Patriots. Where you would see like a majority white coaching staff. You still there?
Yeah.
Sorry, is this a little tangent here?
Oh, you're good.
This is let's see. No, so running backs coach on the Patriots is black. Uh, linebackers coach, inside linebackers coach is black. 1, 2. Oh my God, the Patriots have such a better website than the Browns do for this. 1, 2, 3. They don't go as extensive either. So 3 out of they're almost a similar percentage to the Browns. And the Patriots are usually the ones that get the shit for not drafting enough
Uh-huh.
black players or shit like that. And two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now are black.
Uh-huh.
I think the Baltimore Ravens is going to fall off a little bit. I think it's kind of like the Baker thing. They're going to, like you say, some eventually they're going to figure out. But two of the best, I would say, the 2 best quarterbacks right now in the NFL are black. So it's a majority. Sports is majority black people. So I get where they're saying that there should be more in the coaching staff. It should be a majority black people. But who out there? What law is enacted or rule that we see on paper that says you can't be black and do this?
Yeah. No, I'm
So
with you.
so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I feel like that's all they're basing off of is that majority of players in the league are black, and like you said, majority of the coaches are former players. So why is it not naturally more black players? And like I said, I get that to a point, but I feel like that argument only goes so far if you're not going to look at it all around.
Oh gosh, here's an article from the Atlantic. Uh, what in the hell? I gotta get off this website. That was a disgusting article I just read. NFL owners have a problem with coaches of color. That's such clickbait, man. Oh, yep. Here I was right, man. Because I remember hearing about this. Bill Belichick has the NFL's least diverse coaching staff. So you're telling me the least diverse coaching staff is still rocking? Let's see, 21 divided by, or that is bad math. So that's supposed to be the least diverse coaching staff, and he still has what did I say, three?
Yeah,
So three. That's 14% of his coaching staff is black. And if that's the least diverse one, are they going to be like, okay, he's got 5 black people, and he's got 3, so he's going to get a better pick because he's got 2 extra blacks? Like, how ridiculous does that sound? That's in itself sounds so racist, what I just said. But
yeah,
that's what they're saying.
that's why I said. That's why I feel like you're not allowed to talk about it. But if you're not allowed, that's actually seems racist itself because you should be able to discuss it. Be like, wait a second.
Um, it's very odd. And you know, colleges have been doing this for a while too, for
Yeah,
admittance. I'm just glad it's internal and it's not something that they're forcing on people without a vote.
yeah,
But I think if they vote on it, they can do whatever the hell they want. And at the end of the day, I'm glad they went the Democratic route.
yeah. Um, the only other random thing I had was I told you a couple weeks ago you should look up Justin Amaj, the guy that was running for president. Probably gonna be the Libertarian candidate. So don't do that unless you want to be depressed because he already dropped out.
Dang, I think we did look up some of his stuff though.
Oh, really? Yeah, not. I feel like it'd be depressing to look it up because you look him up, and then the more you saw, the more you like him. But obviously, that's not gonna happen now. So I thought I should give you a heads up since we talked about it on this on the podcast.
Dang.
I was sad when I saw it. I thought that was gonna be clickbait because I was like, that's way too soon. But he posted himself. I was like, that's depressing. I went from actually seeming excited about the election again to being like, oh god, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Is I'm gonna listen to Joe Biden and vote for Mickey Mouse and see if he can beat Donald Trump because he said he can. And I trust Joe Biden. He knows what he's talking about. Um, so I guess we could do what we talked about last weekend, talk about our top 10 most anticipated games, and then move on to our regular show if you want.
Sounds good, man.
How do you want to do this? You want to, I guess I want to start at 10, but do you want to just read off your 10, or do you want to do like we do sometimes where you read your 10 or your number and then I read one and then we go back and forth?
Um, yeah, go back and forth.
Okay. Well, if you want to start with, I guess I'm guessing you'll probably want to start with 10, but if not, you can start there first.
I see. I don't know if I could do like a numerical.
Oh, really?
Uh, um, I tell you what, you go first, and let me get organized here.
Okay. I won't lie. I'll say a couple things before I start my list. The number thing was hard for me after the first five, or actually the first four, like
Mm-hmm.
1 through 4. Then the next 5 through 10 are all games I'm excited about. Could have really kind of swapped in any order because 5 through 10 I'm excited about, but they all have big question marks, and that's kind of weird for me because usually I was gonna say usually when we put these lists together, but we've never done this. It's just I look at these kind of things. Cause I always thought about doing podcasts like we talked about, and when I usually look at my top 10 games, I'm like, man, there is like 40 I put on here, so this is really hard. Right now, there's like I said, 4 that were for sure, and then a lot of other games I are excited about, but it was hard to even put a top 10 list together, which not because there's so many, but because I was like, I don't know, this game looks cool, but I'm not sure about this. And usually there's so many that I'm so for sure excited about and want to play. And I feel like part of it's probably the next generation's coming, so it's kind of weird. And that's why I thought it'd be interesting to do a list now and then do one in like August or September to see how much the list changed because everything will be announced then and we'll see what happens. And another thing is there's games I know would be on this list, but and they've been announced, but I feel like it'd be kind of weird to have them on this list. Like Insomniac announced the next Spider-Man, but they just announced
Hmm.
they're working on it. I feel like it's kind of weird to have that on a top 10 list until like it's like officially. I know it's officially announced, but like you know what I mean, like an E3 type announcement, like oh it's here and we know this is coming. And same thing with Bioshock. 2K said they're making a Bioshock game, and that would easily both those games would easily be my top 10, probably like top 5. But it feels weird putting those games on there, even though I know they exist because they haven't like truly been announced or um, even farther off, like Giant Sparrow, the developer that made What Remains of Edith Finch, and um, what's what's the other game I always talk about them doing? Now I'm blanking. Um,
Goose.
no, it's close to that. That's oh, the Unfinished Swan,
Unfinished
not
Swan.
Schwan.
Yeah, that's
Um,
Goose Game.
yeah,
That's completely different games.
but they announced their next game, but you have no idea what it is, just their next game. And
Hmm.
or like Ken Levine, the original creator of Bioshock, he announced his next game, but didn't announce what it is. So all those kind of games like that that are existing, but I don't feel like we really know are announced yet. Truly, I feel like it'd be weird to put those on the list, and I feel like that's another reason why this list could change so much once August or September comes around, because I feel like those kind of games are going to be more known and announced by then.
It is okay if there's games in it that are supposed to come out this year, but most likely probably won't.
Oh yeah, they don't even have to be out this year, just as long as they're announced.
Okay, okay. All
And I
right, because
mean,
that was another thing where it's like some games are listed like 12 or 12/31, 2020 because they
yeah,
literally haven't said yet that kind of shit.
no, I
Uh,
that's
but yeah,
definitely fine. Especially like I said, I think it'd be interesting doing August or September and see how much the list changed because for that reason that a lot is going to be a lot more solidified and some of the ones I have on my list will already be out by then, so by default it's going to look different. But I think it'd be interesting
yeah,
for the games that haven't come out to see how much it changes. Like once we see more about these games, if they move higher up or fall down, or the new announcements if they move into a list. But so for my number 10 is Cyberpunk 2077,
okay.
which I feel like probably sounds like obvious because everybody has it on their top 10 list, but you know I haven't been as hyped for that as most people. And I still, like I said, 5 through 10 is so hard because all of them have reasons why they could not be in my top 10, but reasons I'm excited. And for that one, I don't think it's any way could live up to the hype. But at the same time, I feel like the hype isn't what's made it cool. I thought the world looked cool and what they're doing seems really awesome. And I don't care about The Witcher, but I feel like they're obviously a very impressive developer and take time with their games and do it right. And The Witcher, the world isn't really my kind of thing. Fantasy, there's few things I like in it, but I don't really care for fantasy that much. And Cyberpunk seems a lot cooler to me, and the fact that it's a first-person shooter seems more up my alley. So I feel like even if it can't live up to the hype, if it's just a cool game, which is what I'm looking at it as, not some game-changing, life-altering experience, that
Hmm.
I think it could be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's on my list too.
Oh,
So
is it?
yeah, I feel like there's not a like you said, there's not a whole lot. I think they're holding back. Some game companies are holding back for
Mm-hmm.
the new consoles, so I'm sure we'll have a lot of repeat ones.
Yeah. Um, I think we will. I think there's a few on my list that you probably haven't even thought of or would think is weird to be on top 10. But like I said, that's because aside after you get out of four, it's a lot of ones that there's things I'm excited about, but really big question marks or concerns about.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So you ready for my number 10?
I am.
Um, Wasteland 3.
Um, I know that. Let me look it up.
It's like the yeah, go for it. Um, it's kind of like that up top RPG. Deep Silver. Microsoft
Oh,
just bought
yeah.
them.
Yeah, I gotcha. I know it is.
I've never played any of those games, but I watched some people play the second one, and I know it's really really popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the setting of it. And honestly, the list is a little light, so it would have been super easy to knock this one out if there were some more games coming out or
Yeah.
announced. But it just looks like a funny, like not funny, but just a fun thing to pick up. Something not sure if you'll finish, and hopefully, I'd imagine it's gonna be on Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my number 10.
I gotcha. Yeah, I actually remember looking up when I was trying to look up games. Like I said, usually these kind of top 10 lists, I just know right away 10 games I could easily put on there, but I actually had to look up games and I saw that one and I'm not sure if it'd be up my alley, but it looked interesting, the art style and everything.
Yeah, and I mean I won't lie, a big portion of that is trying to support Microsoft and um, supporting their. I know it's coming on PS4, but supporting their in-house stuff now.
Yeah.
Because I'm really excited that they bought up all those companies, and I hope they announce a bunch more they bought up.
Yeah, I gotcha. Um, so my number 9 is Iron Man VR,
Uh huh.
which that one, again, I feel like is a big question mark because, for one, a VR game could always be a question because VR can be so amazing, but if you do one thing wrong, it can be a completely miserable experience. And but what makes me excited is Iron Man's always been one of my favorite comic book characters, and I feel like him in particular seems so easy for a game to nail. I feel like he's already a video game character himself, but every time they've tried it, it's been terrible to okay at best. And then VR seems like it's made for Iron Man if they do it right. So I really hope they do, and if they don't, I don't really know how they're gonna make Iron Man work. So I said I feel like there's no reason Iron Man shouldn't work as a game, and then VR seems like a natural fit for Iron Man.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Did you ever play any of the 360 games?
Yeah, the 361 was the one I thought was the best, but even that, there's really cool moments and there's some cool mechanics, but I felt like you could tell that it was kind of barren.
Yeah, yeah. I felt for like what the game was. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What about your number 9 guy?
Number 9, Dying Light 2.
Oh yeah,
And purely based on that trailer they released. And there's one scene in particular, like it's pretty cut and dry Dying Light stuff, but that scene where the he pulls the dam, like
oh
someone pulls
yeah.
the water out, and then all those zombies are down in the mud.
hmm
That scene was just so cool. That scene stuck with me so much. So that's my number 9.
Did you
We'll
play
see
the
though. What's that?
Did you play the first one?
A little bit, but I spent more time with their. Oh God, what is that game that's like they started on, but it's kind of known as a almost like a knockoff at this point.
Dead Island.
Dead Island, yeah.
Yeah.
And was not a huge fan. And the little bit I've seen of Dying Light, I had a lot of friends that went crazy over it, and I played when they had it. I enjoyed it.
I
And just that
actually,
whole mechanic of one you got to watch nighttime.
yeah.
That's just so cool to me. That it's gonna get way harder at night.
I actually, I love Dead Island, but I think that game is definitely not as polished and more of a just a silly fun game. Kind of like I feel like it's kind of Borderlands with zombies and not as polished even as Borderlands. So I thought it
That's
was
a great way to put it.
yeah, I thought it was fun for that, but I can definitely see. Do you remember that first trailer for Dead Island?
I actually sent. I think I sent you one today of a mobile game knocking it off or knocking off the second trailer. Are you talking about the little girl?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah, and the second one was the guy running, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
didn't get that. I'll have to look at my messages, but yeah, that
Oh,
trailer, huh?
listen, I wonder who the hell I sent it to then.
I might have got. I
Somebody
didn't
got
see it though. But that trailer is still one of my favorite trailers of all time, not just games, movies, anything. It was so well done, and the reverse slow mo of the world falling apart and it seeming natural, and then that piano that starts playing, the beautiful piano. I fucking
Oh yeah.
loved it, and I was like, this is exactly. I don't hate on zombies like people do, but they obviously were getting really overdone, especially at that time. And I was like, this is exactly what zombies need is something that is really cool zombies, but really actually emotional and a good story and not just nonsense. So, on one hand, even though I have a lot of fun with Dead Island and I like it, it disappoints me because I feel like that trailer led to be something else, and I feel like it could be something so much different. But
Hootie voodoo.
yeah, yeah, that just somebody's create a mashup of that touching, cool trailer and then the intro to the real Dead Island. It'd be like,
Did you also? Because I like your comparison to Borderlands, because I feel like every mission was, "Hey, I need some
oh
food,"
yeah,
and then you run and you're like literally picking up juice boxes. You remember the juice boxes, dude?
uh huh,
That was I couldn't. I had some friends that got really pissed off at me. Like, "What's a video game?" Like, yeah, but this is terrible.
yeah, no,
Hey,
it's
we need some supplies. Okay, and then you just literally juice boxes, anything. You guys could have put anything there. There's a box that said food. Why juice boxes?
no, it was definitely ridiculous and just a silly game, and that's why I had fun with it. But yeah, at the same time, that's it could have been so much more and something different. So I had fun for what it was, but it should have been something else. And Dying Light kind of seems in between that. I again don't. It's a lot more serious of a tone, but I feel like there's not, from what I played, doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of substance as far as story. It just kind of again zombies, but a lot more serious. And I did have fun with it, but I didn't keep up with it. So I would have put the second one on my list, but it felt weird because not because you have to beat the first one or you can't put it on your list or anything, but just because I was liking the first one and didn't keep playing it. So it seems kind of weird to be excited about the second one if I couldn't even keep up with the first one.
Yeah, that's kind of these early, especially the number. I think number 9, number 10, the other ones where they're sequels, and I haven't completed the first ones.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like I said, I'm not being all high and mighty. Like, oh, you better beat the first one if you want to play that one. It just seems weird to me in a way that, like, oh, that second one does look cool. I want to play it. And I'm like, wait, why do I want to play that? I could play a game they have right now and I haven't played it. Um, so, number 8 for me is Marvel Avengers, which I know is getting a lot of hate, and partly for a fair reason because some of the models in the game were fucking atrocious and very funny. But I think for one, they're already talking about touching that up. And I also think it was fair criticism, but I feel like it also went way overboard because some of them were just flat out bad. But I feel like a lot of them just didn't look like the movie characters, so everybody made fun of it. Even though it's so that argument's so weird to me. Like when every time the Joker is different, and somebody's like, "Well, that's not how the Joker was in this movie." When usually the people who are doing that are talk about how they're huge comic book fans, and I'm not even trying to say I'm a comic book fan. I think they're really interesting. Used to collect them, but I didn't even fucking read them. I just thought they were cool. And even I know that in comic books, that's one of the main things. There's hundreds of different stories and adaptations of characters, and so I feel like it's really weird just to base it off of one product. And if it doesn't match that, then it's a failure. Like I said, some of those were just objectively bad, like poor designs of a video game character. So I think there is fair criticism, but like I said, I feel like most things it just went overboard. And I feel like there's a lot of potential and good that could come out of it. The As far as the gameplay and what they showed, it looked fun, and it's Crystal Dynamic that made the Tomb Raider reboot, which I think is one of the best reboot series of all time. So I feel like there's a lot of reason to believe that it could be good, and I feel like there seems like they're creating a big world and a lot of characters. So the fact that maybe some of the characters didn't look good the first time they showed it, and the game's just destroyed because of that, I feel like it's a little unfair.
No, I agree. And if you go back to the origin comic books, like
Mm-hmm.
the first ones, like the 1940s ones, they are completely different too. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
so the argument makes no sense unless they directly said this is based off the new Avenger movies.
Yeah, and like I said, that argument's always weird because I would get if it was like the person you always say that just goes buys a Walmart shirt because they're excited about the new Marvel movie and go watch it. If it's that kind of perspective and that's all I saw, I'll get why they'd be like, "Oh, this isn't the Marvel movie I see." But They said majority of people that complain about that usually are people like, oh, I've read comic books my whole life. I know everything. Well, then why do you not fucking know that there's hundreds of versions of these characters and stories? I don't get how you're always so confused by this.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But we'll see. They haven't shown anything since. I'm sure it's probably because of that backlash. And like I said, I think there definitely is room for improvement. So hopefully they're using it.
Yep, yep.
What
Number
about?
8 for me
Yep.
I was kind of weird putting this one on here because it's technically a remake, but I figured it'd be okay, right?
Yeah.
Destroy All Humans.
Oh yeah.
Those were some games that, like, back in the day, just goofed around with your friends, uh, messing with, but I never really completed it, so I'm excited to play it through.
Yeah. That's I'm not sure if I'll buy it, but I definitely want to play it. It's I actually thought about putting that on my list because as a kid, I was so excited for that game. I loved Mars Attacks, and I feel like this was just a game of that. I know it wasn't, but like that style of humor, but in game. And I was so excited for that game, and I can't remember if I rented or bought it, but I got it the day it came out, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was one of those things where I was a kid and I just didn't know what I was doing because I was so excited and I played it for hours and I fucking hated it. But I feel like that's probably because I can't remember anything that was like, oh, this was broken or I didn't like this. I feel like I was probably just frustrated because I didn't know what I was doing and I was so excited. So the more I didn't know what I was doing, the more frustrated it got because I wanted to like it so much. So I'm actually kind of excited they're redoing it so I can try it again and see if it was just my little kid brain.
Yeah, man. Yep. So that's number 8 for me, which I think that brings in what, two THQ games already.
Um,
Is Wasteland published by
oh,
them?
I think so. Yeah, I was trying to make my list. I don't think I have anything.
Yeah, I think so. It's THQ, which is kind of nice. It's like the revival of the. I think the Sacred Stone was recently talking about it, but the double A, is that what they call them?
Yeah, double A. Yeah, I like the
Double A games.
mid-range games.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that's been missed for a long time and became real obvious because there's like most things a very strong point of AAA is all that matters and indie is all that matters. So it kind of just fell by the wayside. And yeah, I really hope so. It's funny that you point out THQ as that because on Sacred Symbols they've destroyed them more than anyone. I told you I always thought that was weird because I was always excited when THQ was coming back and hearing all the purchases they made. I thought it was fucking weird. I don't know how they were doing it, but I was like, I think that has a lot of potential actually.
Yeah, I don't. The amount of money they spend is insane, but I know they keep a low overhead, and um, yeah, I know they've taken some weird money from China too, but we won't get into that.
Um, that was your number 8. Okay, so my number 7 is Valorant, the new FPS from Riot Games. People made League of Legends, and I think we were playing games together when I first saw that. I didn't even know it fucking existed. But the more I look it up, the more excited I am. I've never played League of Legends in my life, but again, kind of like the CD Projekt Red thing with The Witcher. I
Mhm.
feel like they're obviously very capable and have kept an audience for a fucking decade now, so they're obviously doing something right. And then everything I see of Valorant looks really cool. It looks right up my alley. It looks like a Overwatch knockoff or something like that. And I've always liked those kind of shooters like Team Fortress, Overwatch. One that I think is really underrated that didn't start it, but I feel like was before all these was Shadowrun, and I thought it did the most kind of different things. I feel like we could use a game like that now, but I don't know. I feel like it seems really cool, and I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, I think that would have been on my list too, but I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. That's another thing. Even I tried to take my time to not miss games, but I guarantee I did. So by the time the next list comes around, or even after we record this, I'm sure I'm going, oh shit, because there were some games that are like at the top of my list that I would have kept off if I didn't scroll through lists and see it, and I was like, oh shit, that is coming out. So yeah, it's
What's
definitely.
the release date for that?
They just said sometime this year, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely would have been on there for me as well.
And it's pretty sure that's supposed to be free to play, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that's even more exciting, especially because I feel like a lot of companies now have learned that free to play used to be just the worst thing to hear in the world, which it still can be, but I feel like a lot of companies have learned that you can have a full game and then have cosmetics and a lot of crazy shit you can buy that I don't usually ever buy, but obviously people pour millions and millions of dollars into, but it doesn't ruin the game for everybody else and doesn't restrict you from things, which I feel like is probably what they're doing with it.
I gotta say it though. Riot is almost completely all Chinese money now. I think they're 100% owned by Tencent.
I like how you said, but we're not going to go there. I gotta say it.
I gotta say it, man.
Yeah, so even with that game, like, so 5 to 10 or just all could have been different out of order or it could have been off the list because that game looks really cool, but like I said, I've never actually played one of their games and I don't know a ton about this game yet. So, but I think it has a lot of potential to be a game that sticks and is really cool.
Yeah, and there's tons of money behind that too. So it's not one of
Yeah.
those things that's gonna, if it kind of flops at the beginning, they're gonna still inject some money into that for a minute.
Yeah.
So it's number 7.
Yep.
All right, you're kind of the reason. You're probably like 33% responsible for this pick, and then my 2 other friends are another 33% each.
Okay.
And that is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 collectors
Oh,
collection.
okay. Yeah, I did not think
Yep.
that'd be on your list.
Yeah, man, because you guys gotta. It's like, man, am I missing something here with this series? Just to listen to you, Peter, and Andrew going off about it. So I was like, man, I gotta. You guys kind of hyped me up for it.
Well, hopefully I didn't do too much. Like I said, I'll never not argue for what that game was, and like I said, even some of the I played up till 360. I know a lot of people dropped off faster than that, and I think the early ones are easily the best. Like 1 through 3 are the best. But yeah, those games. Like I said, when those came out, it was just that and nothing else for a long time, and even once other stuff came out, it was still that and other games. But like I said, so I'll never argue for that at the time. I just last week I tried to even say that I'm trying to keep my expectations managed because that remaster that everybody seems to forget existed did not
Yeah.
do it, and I'm concerned but want to be really excited.
Well, and it seems like they're trying their best. Like the videos that you see of comparing the two and the
Mm-hmm.
soundtrack. I think they're really trying their best on this.
Yeah.
Um, what else was I going to say? Oh, also, I feel like that was, I might have said this before, but I feel another reason I was turned off by it, I felt like that might have been, in my life, the first fortnight where everybody wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
You didn't say it like that, but yeah, you talked about everybody talking about, which I definitely get. Like I said, I would have been one of those people and fucking extreme one of those people because I would not shut up and we would just spend all day playing that. So I would have been one of those, but no, I know how that feels. And I said that's turned me off of many things, not because other people like it, but because it's just shoved down your throat and that's all you hear. So it doesn't give you a
For sure.
chance to just experience it and see what it's like.
And Peter is like, Peter made the mistake of buying a PS3 at launch while all of us got 360s. But I remember him playing that shit. Even though he had a PS3, he was still putting his PS2 copies in of that fucking game and wouldn't stop playing it. And it was like maybe 2008. Let's see, I'd have been a sophomore, so 2009 maybe. We'd still go over to his house and he'd be like, "You guys want to play Tony Hawk?" Peter, what the fuck, dude? That shit's like 10 years ago. What are you doing?
So I got my Tony Hawk ride board, jump on.
Yeah, so I want to give it a shot.
No, I hope it, even for myself, I hope it can recapture that, but especially for somebody like you that never really gave a chance or couldn't like it or whatever. I said I have my concerns and I think for valid reasons, but at the same time, if they can nail that and going through those old levels and hearing Gorilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine playing and doing all these crazy ass tricks, I'll just feel right at home again.
I've also been debating on whether or not to pre-order the collector's edition. That's just such a cool collector's edition.
No, it definitely is.
But my girlfriend would definitely kill me if I bought $100 game right now that doesn't come out for till September.
Well,
Um,
here's what you do: you wait, you don't tell her, and then you wait till it comes, and you ride in the skateboard while you're holding the game in your hand.
yeah, riding our flooded basement. It'll still be flooded because I spent all my money. What's up, babe?
So my number six, you probably forgot it was even announced, so it might really catch you off guard. But Crossfire X for Xbox One,
Yeah.
the crazy successful PC shooter, and they're bringing over to Xbox and doing like this crazy touch up on it, and the graphics, I don't know if you remember, looked like if they can actually follow through with it, looked more impressive than anything on Xbox One right now. And then the multiplayer, that's what it is, just all multiplayer. Already looked like a lot of fun. But I don't know if you remember, they announced at E3
Yeah,
that Remedy was making a single player campaign. And you know how I feel about Remedy. And I was like, this sounds so weird, but so awesome.
for sure, man. Did you see? God damn, what was their first game?
Well, their first was Max Payne, but you're talking about Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. Yeah. Did you see it's on Game Pass?
Yeah, I actually had that. I don't care. You said it now. I was just going to do in the free games because, yeah, I
Oh,
saw they.
gotcha.
No, you're good. I was caught off guard by that. I kind of did a double take. I was like, oh shit. And I was going to give everybody a reminder because we just talked about that last week, but it makes sense for their 10-year anniversary. I thought that was a really cool thing to do.
Most
I don't
definitely.
know. I feel it's kind of weird. I don't know what the license is on that because Microsoft owned it originally. So I don't know if they couldn't have put it on Game Pass themselves or how that worked.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I guess it's a 360 game. They don't automatically put all 360 games on there.
All right, number six.
Yep.
All right, it's already been talked about, but Marvel Avengers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a cool premise,
Hmm.
and I can kind of see what people are complaining about the character design
Hmm.
because some of them do look like the movie. Like Captain America definitely looks like Chris Evans,
Hmm.
and the Hulk kind of looks like the right Hulk, and then randomly Thor just looks like a completely different person. So I get where they're coming from because they didn't redesign everybody, but I also get your point of it as well,
Yeah.
and I think that's just a cool premise. I'd be down to try it.
No, definitely. I can't believe that's on your list, but I'm excited that it is. And I can't remember. I feel like that'd be a perfect multiplayer game, but I can't remember if it is. So if it is, I'd totally be down to play that.
Because I think my mind goes to that Iron Man game that I liked on 360,
Hmm.
and the Hulk game on the original Xbox where you just run around destroying stuff.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So I feel like there would be some aspects of those in this, and it just sounds sweet. And you get bored of one character, it sounds like you could just switch. And,
Hmm.
yeah.
Cool. I'm glad to see that's on your list. My number five, it's weird, was actually talked about as well. It's Tony Hawk. And
Bubba.
yeah, like I said, all these games, even Crossfire, I don't really know much about. I just thought it was cool, but I feel like that could really backfire. um,
No.
I was gonna say, and I was like, oh shit, I can't say this without sounding corny now. Uh, but I said Tony Hawk. That I feel like we already said all of it, but it has the potential to be something that brings me back to being a kid and be like, holy shit, this is what I missed, or realizing that these controls are never gonna work again and that it wasn't the remaster's fault. But I hope that's not the case. And I don't know if I said it last week, but in that interview, Tony Hawk even they're talking about how you can use a control stick or the um, D-pad, and she was like, "Yeah, we want it to feel more modern, so that you have the control stick." And Tony Hawk interrupting, he's like, "Yeah, that my I try and do that, but my mind all just goes back to the old school, so I transform the D-pad and start using that." Which I get. Like I said, that makes sense because that's how the game was played. But like I said, I feel like our play style has changed so much that I don't know if we could do that. He probably does keep probably didn't play a lot of modern games, so to him that just is how games are.
Yeah. I thought
So
it'd be higher for you, honestly.
um, it would be if I felt completely confident. It would be maybe even high as two, but yeah, the fact that there's such a big question mark, I can't put any higher than that.
I gotcha. I have a feeling I know what your number one is,
Oh, I'm sure.
and it's definitely missing from my list, but
Oh,
we'll get
really?
into that. Yeah. Fortunately. So one, two, three, four, five, right?
Yep.
As Last of Us Part Two.
Oh,
Yep. I've never played the first one, but I have it on my PS4, and the plan was once I get through Dreams, that would be my next one on there. Play it before the second one comes out.
that's what I was just about to ask you because I didn't think you played the first one, and that's one I think I'm sure you know. You obviously need to play the first one and should. Like I said, these Wasteland 3 or Dying Light. I'm not being a snob. Like, oh, you haven't beat that. I think you could go to the next game and be completely fine. But Last of Us is so story driven, narrative driven. I feel like it'd be pointless to not play the or to play the second one if you haven't played the first. And I think the first one you're just gonna fucking fall in love with. Um, but yeah, I was surprised that they're on there because like I said I didn't think you played the first one.
Yeah, and it's just I know it's gonna be good, man. They've never really let anybody down.
Yeah, kind of like
I
you're
know
letting me
people are
do with that
freaking.
cat.
Yeah, you like this? This is our first guest.
I need to get Buckeye down
Um,
here.
uh, would he like lose his mind?
Um, oh, you mean because the cat?
Yeah.
He would be. He's too fucking spazzy to even notice it.
Do you hear the purring? He's like he's like he's talking too. He's putting his mouth right up to the mic,
See him
looking.
doing it, but I can't hear it. Maybe it'll come through on the recording, but I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little goofy to once again to get excited about a sequel. I haven't played the first one, but I know how highly regarded the first one is,
Yeah.
and I bought the first one on release day. But then I had a guy offer me crazy amount of money for my PS3 and Last of Us copy that I just got, but he said I had to keep it sealed, so I never got a chance to play it. And last Black Friday, I bought the remaster.
I gotcha.
It's one of those sad games, man, that I've always avoided.
Yeah. Have you had anything spoiled for you on the first one?
Um, yes, but I don't know if it's true or not
No. Well, you don't
because I've
say.
heard like when people bring it up on podcasts, I always hear like, "Wait, that doesn't fall along with what I've heard." Um, but yeah, so I've been lucky in that sense,
Yeah.
especially with the sequel. I haven't seen any of the spoilers everyone's talking about,
Same.
but I stay the fuck off Twitter, Facebook groups, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Did you see PlayStation Naughty Dog doing something I think actually would be right at both the rallies, but even that I stayed away from, and I wish I didn't have to because it sounds really cool. They're doing I think 5 episodes of like behind the scenes documentary making of The Last of Us, and they released the
Okay.
first episode. And I was like, man, we always talk about how studios never do that anymore and don't do enough of that. I was like, the one time I do, I feel like I can't watch it because of other people. If I scroll one way, there's fucking chance to go, oh, he dies, oh, this happens.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
So once I see credits roll on both of those, I'll feel that. Wow, it's almost like you live in constant like anxiety, like, oh god, am I gonna see it?
yeah. Um, yeah, I'll be curious to see what you think of it. I don't think I ever told you. I was so excited for the first one because I thought it looked cool with the E3 demo, but I loved Uncharted and um, obviously loved uh, fucking Crash. Was I blanking on that? Um, so I was excited for that. But I don't think I told you the first one I got on PS3, and I thought it was cool, but I stopped playing it because it plays so much different than any game I played, and plays kind of stealthy, which you wouldn't expect. So I'm not good at stealth at all. So I would get so frustrated because I would get to a scene and think I'm doing it well, and it all fall apart. So I stopped playing it, and I was like, I can't do this game. And then I rented it actually, so that's why part of why I stopped playing it because I didn't own it, so it's a lot easier to stop. And then I was like, man, I really liked that, but I just don't know what I was doing wrong. No, when I got it, I got the remaster on PS4 because I wanted to try it, and I bought that one. And there was points I struggled again, but once I learned it, I was like, oh man, this makes so much more sense. And again, it was me and not the game because the mechanics are so different that you can't just play it like other games. So it's one of those games that until you get it, it seems frustrated or even like bad game design. But then once you figure it out, you're realize that it's even smarter game design than most games are just fucking not used to it.
Yeah, I've been there. What? Oh god, something. Dragon Age was like that for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh gosh, those games are. They almost feel retro in their. Sorry, Jesus. Um, Retro in their mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But once you, it's like you said. So I had to watch YouTube videos on explanations. But once you get it, you realize, oh, this is why everyone freaked out.
Yeah, I know I told you, but not on the podcast. Bioshock was one of those for me, and that's one of my all-time favorite games and series now. But I remember again the trailers and the E3 demos. I was like, this looks so fucking cool, and one of the like first big 360 games. And then when I got it and I just played it like I would any other shooter, and you cannot play that game like that. This game is impossible and so hard, and fucking this game is terrible. And I didn't play it for probably a couple of years, and I was like, I want to play it again because like I said I was so excited and there's so much cool about it. And then playing it and realizing you gotta can't play like a shooter and you gotta mix in the plasmids and play a lot smarter. This game,
Stealthy almost.
yeah, this game is so fucking brilliant, and I don't know what the hell I know what I was doing, but I don't know why I thought I could play it like a shooter.
Yeah, that I could see that. Um, I'm trying to think of another game. Did you ever play Dead Space? I felt like the same way with that.
Really, that's one I didn't have an issue with for some reason, which is weird because yeah, that game is a lot more like survival than shooter, so that should have been a struggle for me. But for some reason, I was okay with that one.
All right, I got lost here. Am I next?
Um,
You're next, right?
yeah, I'm next. I also had one more thing. Did you see randomly that Sony announced special edition Last of Us 2 PS4 a couple days ago?
I did. Yeah, that was
Uh,
so last minute.
Last minute, nice. Yeah, that's. I don't know if I've ever heard of a company doing a system that late in the cycle. Like we're months away from, or supposedly months away from the next system. So that seems really weird. I'm sure they make a very small amount, so that's probably the reason they'll know that they know they'll sell them. But that still seems odd because how many people are haven't had a PS4 that are going to be buying The Last of Us unless it's just people are going to rebuy one?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be probably a collector's thing
Yeah,
or eBay resellers.
yeah, it could be. Um, so my number four is probably gonna shock you, but would make sense if you know kind of games I play. Is The Wolf Among Us 2, and it excites me so much because I love Telltale, even though they did a lot of things wrong. And The Wolf Among Us was actually my favorite Telltale game, as much as I already love the world of Guardians of the Galaxy or Borderlands or The Walking Dead or all these properties I already liked. The Wolf Among
Batman.
Us, yeah, Batman, yeah. So things I've loved for years, or some of them like almost my lifetime, like stuff like Batman. Um, it's weird that this game jumped over all those, and I never even heard of Fables, which is what this is based off of, a graphic novel, I guess. And
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't even fucking know that until this game came out, and I thought this game was the most unique one and the most interesting story. And again, unfortunately, has the downside of the Telltale engine where everything's choppy and runs like it's 15 years old, even when it first came out. And that's why I'm hoping this studio, I don't know if they're calling themselves Telltale again or what it is now, because obviously they went out of business, but they brought a lot of people back and are revitalizing it. So I really hope they're making a new engine and that this will be a big leap forward. But I have a feeling it's just going to be they bought the engine too and reusing it, which sucks because that means you're still going to have all those fucking terrible frame rates and all the issues. But the first one had that. And like I said, it's on my number four most anticipated game. So even at its worst, I feel like it'll be something I really want to play.
yeah. I remember you telling me that before in the past, and that's just completely surprising me. Do you think it's because it's like new to you?
I think that's part of it, and I think the fact that I didn't know what Fables was and didn't know that was a thing, um, but also knowing all these characters already because they're based off of like the big bad wolf and the three little pigs and Snow White and all these characters that I know, but it's like a twist on them, kind of like we're talking about Avengers with people complaining about like different stories. I feel like this is really interesting because I didn't know what it was, but at the same time I knew all these characters, so seeing all these stories like flipped around and darker versions of them, I thought was super interesting.
Yeah, I've never read the graphic novel, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, yeah, I think this is I don't know about the graphic novel, but the game I think is one of the ones you'd probably like the most by them.
Do you know the only Telltale game I've ever beaten or
Um,
played?
I have two guesses.
Okay.
Well, I guess oh man, it could be one of the old ones before they even got to their adventure game, like their new style of adventure games. But
Oh no, it's a new one.
oh, okay, I'll either guess the first season of Walking Dead or Game of Thrones.
You would think that would be right up my alley, but Minecraft.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was not that. It was okay. It was like
Yeah,
um, I was not familiar. I knew what Telltale was and what the aspect of it was, but I didn't realize how little of video games those are.
yeah, yeah. That's what we talked about before. They're more like fucking like playable movies in a video game.
Which is like you said, be perfect for the people like, oh, I don't play video games.
Yeah, that's part of why even it's definitely good for that if you have somebody, a girlfriend or somebody who doesn't like games or anybody who doesn't like games. But even for me, it's nice. As much as I love like these crazy immersive games and getting deep into all this stuff, it's nice to be able to sit there and not have to worry for once and just kind of enjoy something.
No, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
And it's just like watching a TV show. And I think those games are so simple, man. You could almost get those running on. I don't know if they have. They probably might have on phones and
yeah, they have.
browsers. Yeah, see, it's perfect.
Hmm.
I just think they were just doing too much of the same thing and buying some really expensive IPs.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so is this number 4 for me?
Yep.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Thought that'd be on your list somewhere.
Yep, it just looks great, and I just love the Vikings. Like, I've watched the Vikings TV show, but I've watched God, what is that? Kingdom, The Last Kingdom.
Hmm.
That's a fantastic show, and this is based on their take on the same time,
Hmm.
just like the Vikings invading England, and it just looks cool, man. The bears and the hub world and the ships, it's like they've taken my favorite aspects of Assassin's Creed and put it into one. And
No,
I
I
hope
hear
it
you.
doesn't let me down.
No, that's fair then. I can see why you'd be excited. Um,
Especially if they let you because they showed invasions and sieges. If it's like Brotherhood where you build up your own army,
hmm.
I'd be all about that.
Yeah. So my number three is Ghost of Tsushima, and that's probably not surprising after I talked about it last week. But I'm just so excited for that game, and like I said I knew I'd be excited because I loved Infamous, and I think Sucker Punch is underrated developer, and that first E3 demo was so cool. But um, I also worried that it's just gonna be one of those E3 demo kind of things. So the fact that they showed so much of it and it looked even more promising was really exciting for me.
Yeah, I can feel it. We'll get into that, but I feel like my excitement level stayed the same after watching the newest trailer.
Really? Okay, yeah, we'll
I
have to
mean, it
talk
was
about
pretty
that.
high, but yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that one too. I didn't really like the collector's edition. I had a chance to pre-order it. Now I kind of wish I would have because I don't know if it's because of the trailer, but it seems like after that trailer came out, collector's edition, uh, they uh, they announced it, right?
I thought so. I thought I remember seeing one.
Yeah, man, that thing shot up on eBay like crazy.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll die down a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think it was like $300 last time I checked on there.
Jesus.
Yeah, and most of the time these people I think are using bots to buy
Oh,
shit,
I'm
and then
sure.
it just sucks. I wish there was a way around it. I wish
Yeah.
they'd make more collector's editions than what they do. Which is kind of good because I felt like there for a second, maybe, I don't know, like 2012, time, they almost made too many,
Hmm.
and then you'd always see them on sale.
Yeah.
So it's kind of made this mentality in my mind, like, oh, don't buy collector's editions because they go on sale. But now they've kind of gone back to where they're actually scarce.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yep. So what is it? Number three then?
Yep.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, so it's higher up for you.
Yep, yep. It just looks good, man. I'm playing their first game right now, Witcher, on the computer.
Hmm.
Since I don't have my Xbox or PS4 hooked up anymore, I'll probably play some more of that once we get off here. I gotta pack up some eBay stuff. I'll probably go play that. They put a lot of details into their world, um, and it just looks cool. That trailer just looks awesome with them robbing shit or him coming in getting the shootout.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's number three for me.
Nice. Yeah. Hope it can even. If it can't live up to the hype, I hope it's at least good. Which, like I said, I feel like at minimum it's gonna be good and probably better than that. So, um, my number two is another game we've already talked about, The Last of Us 2. And I don't want to talk too much about it since you haven't played the first, but like I said, the first one was just such a cool game to me, and Naughty Dog has never made anything that I thought was bad. And the second one looks really cool, so I'm excited for it.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I figured it'd be pretty high.
Yeah.
Number two is kind of cheated and put two games there, but
Okay.
one of them is kind of a throwaway because I don't know how this is gonna go. Um, I guess I'll start with the one we already mentioned, but Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, okay.
The trailer didn't change too much for me. I kind of still at the same level of excitement. We'll get into it. I kind of actually feel like it kind of made it. Actually, might have turned down my excitement a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, but the other one is I almost just didn't put this on here because I could see this going bad and being a total flop. But Minecraft Dungeons.
Oh, yeah. Didn't they say? Did I see it right? They said that's coming into Game Pass with Alan Wake.
It's possible. It comes out in like 4 days, I think. So
Oh, that's probably yeah. And
it's
Microsoft
another
owns
reason.
them.
Yeah, it's another reason I almost didn't put it on here is because it comes out so soon. But I'm just excited to see them doing something else with Minecraft.
No, I hear it. Yeah, like I said, Last of Us 2 comes out in like a month. Ghost isn't much farther after. So, yeah, a lot of these games are going to be out by the time we even do our next list anyway. So, my list is already going to look different. So, I know what you mean by that. But it seems weird to not put them on there since they're not out yet. And, I care less about Minecraft. I think it's super impressive, just not my kind of thing. But, I know this is supposed to be more like a light Diablo, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so if it's on Game Pass, I'll be down to try it since it's so different than Minecraft. You want to play it?
yeah, for sure, man. I think it's gonna be a big team-based game.
Yeah.
Um, I have to ask you though about Ghost of Tsushima and this one because you don't like fantasy games, right?
I definitely have, but yeah, in general, like it's not like something like a sci-fi game where, oh, it's sci-fi. I'm excited. So there's fantasy games I
Mm-hmm.
do like, but yeah, it's not like something that catches my eye.
So it's surprising, dude, that you're excited for Ghost for me because I feel like it's almost like a fantasy game, but I see where you're coming from where it's not.
Yeah, I know it's not like historically accurate or whatever, but yeah, to me it feels separated from fantasy since it's like trying to go for like the Chinese history type thing.
Um, so yep. Number one then for you. Should we do a drum roll?
Oh
Just
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a shock to everybody. Halo Infinite,
dun dun dun.
which, like I said, obviously it's not a shock. It's my favorite series of all time, but I feel like there's fair reason to be excited aside from it's fair, obviously, because my favorite series, so that's already fair for it to be number one. But the fact that it's been more than half a decade since the last Halo came out, I know I said this before, but I don't know if I said it on here, leads me to believe that they're obviously taking their time with it and know how important it is. And I feel like they're obviously doing something that people are not going to expect. And Like I said, as much as I think Battle Royale works in a Halo game, and I would love for them to do that, they said they're not, and they could be lying. But I feel like and hope that they're doing the next Battle Royale, not necessarily Battle Royale, but the next thing that nobody knows is the next big thing and catches on. Because I feel like that's exactly what Halo needs. Me and people that are obsessed with Halo are going to play it no matter what, and I'm sure it'll be fun. So if it doesn't live up to this, I'm not going to be completely disappointed. But I feel like to bring people back to Halo, they can't just have another Halo game, and I feel like that's definitely what they're trying to do, taking this one to make it that they're making it more than just a Halo game. And I feel like 343 has also gotten way too much hate for the games they made. I think the Master Chief Collection is, oh Jesus, I almost did it again. I almost said a masterpiece. Um, but then I think even 4 and 5 are really cool. I think they have some downsides, but I feel like it's kind of like the Star Wars effect where people don't acknowledge that there's downside in Bungie's games too, and that this was a new studio taking over, even though that a lot of people transferred over. So a lot of people are going to have their own ideas of what Halo is and try and make things different. And I feel like some things aren't going to work. And I feel like very similar to Star Wars that people are like, oh, Halo never changes. And then they do something different. And, oh, Halo needs to go back to what it was. So I feel like there's a very thin line of what you can and can't do. And I feel like even in the very little they've shown, I feel like it teases that because the art they show looks a lot closer to the old Halo games and the most recent Halo games, which I feel like would be okay if they had more of that art style, but more current gameplay and new features that you don't expect. And so I just feel like the fact that they're taking this long to make it and that they've shown so little and it comes out potentially in months, I feel like there's going to be something special there.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And it would definitely been on my top 10 list, but I haven't heard shit about it.
Yeah.
Um, so I can't get too excited for it because I feel like my excitement would be based purely on that it's Halo and
Yeah.
Halo alone.
No, I hear you.
And, and I agree with everything you said, and I think that the ODST aspect of it would be perfect for Battle Royale.
Yeah. Uh huh.
But yeah,
I actually can't think of what your number one would be.
I think it'd be kind of hard to guess, but
Okay.
uh, it kind of helps that uh, I'm playing through or reading Game of Thrones, and I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. And I feel like this company makes really good games. But Elden Ring, it's my number
Huh.
one.
I don't think I've heard of that.
It's the author of the books is writing this game with uh, the creator of Dark Souls, George R. R. Martin,
Okay.
and the creator of Dark Souls
Mm-hmm.
are working on it together, and it's kind of
Oh.
like along. So you haven't heard shit about it, so it's kind of it makes sense. I wouldn't put Halo on here and put this on here, but I feel like that George R. R. Martin's involved in the
Mm-hmm.
video game, and I don't know. I just think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I just looked up. It's from software, which always weird seems weird to say from. But yeah, so I know what you're
Yep.
talking about.
And it's supposed to be their largest game they've ever created too,
Yeah,
which is nuts. And if you look up some of the art, man, it just I don't know, it looks awesome.
gotcha. Um, I should have probably started this from the beginning, but I do have a few honorable mentions, and like I said 5 through 10 could have been swapped, and these three could have been swapped in any of the places to 5 through 10. Overwatch 2 because I love the original Overwatch. I think it's weird they're doing a sequel. I know a lot of people are hating on it, but I'm more curious about it. I feel like there is a lot of things they could do to improve, and I know they're talking about doing more of a story kind of thing, which I think would be really interesting because I feel like their characters always have backstories, but they're kind of hide them in these weird online videos that you can watch. And Bright Memory Infinite, that FPS from Microsoft's event, but again, that could just go either way. It looked so cool, but that was such a very small portion of it. And then I forgot this was even announced. It's let me look it up again. I already forgot it. That's tells you how much. But there it is. Outriders. which it's a third-person shooter made by People Can Fly. That made Gears of War Judgment, which I think has its fair share of issues, but I think is a very underrated Gears game. But more so Bulletstorm, which I think is a very underrated game that was a fucking ton of fun that they made.
Oh,
And I
yeah, I
feel,
love that game.
yeah. So I said I feel like any of those kind of transform from 5 to 10 to off the list, and any of those games have extreme upside with some potential downside.
Yeah, I don't have an honorable mentions list besides, I don't know, you could probably throw Halo in there,
Yeah,
Crossfire, some of the ones I forgot. Uh, I just want to know more about Halo, man.
you and me both. We're gonna in July, they say.
I'll be excited.
Yeah, I feel like if it's gonna release in this year, the system and Halo's releasing with it. I mean, at July, that means you can't be more than 4 months away from Halo being out. So I can't imagine that they aren't going to show a lot if they're going to show it because you won't really have any other time to show it.
Yeah. And it's getting close, too, man.
Yeah.
You know, like you just said. But yeah.
Um, but that was fun. I said we can do another one in August or September if you want and see how much the list changes. And with all next gen coming up, I feel like it'll be a lot easier to find a top 10 list or not just like, oh, this game might be cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and maybe there'll be some more announced games for next gen, of course.
yeah, definitely. Um, all right. Any corrections, questions, or feedback, guy?
No, I haven't listened to the episode, so
Yeah, that's true.
I don't
Um,
think anything off the top of the head.
I'll say a couple things. Obviously, it took forever to upload, which is not the plan. Like I said, I didn't know it would take a little bit longer because it was our longest episode yet, and I was going to do the most editing I've ever done. But that I got done relatively fast, like a day or so. But then there was issues on YouTube, man, that kept it hanging. So hopefully that won't be an issue anymore. And I know when I listened to the beginning of our episode that it had the same issue with the sound only coming out of one headphone, and I think we got to figure it out now. So hopefully that's fixed as you're listening to this. But I know it's been an on and off issue for us, so hope it's not continued. And then the only other thing was last week I was telling you about Dave, that Lil Dicky show, and I said how it was FX highest rated show ever, and you're like, really, with Always Sunny being on there? And I wasn't processing what was on that channel, and after you said that, I was like, shit, that can't be right, because there's no way. Dave's really funny, and I'm not really comparing him. It could be funnier. I don't know. Yeah, it's too early. But just knowing how popular Always Sunny is, I was like, there's no way. So I looked it up, and it makes a lot more sense. It's on FXX, which I didn't know was a thing. But I mean, I still impressed. It sounds funny, but I mean, I'd be like the equivalent of like ESPN2. So the fact that it's that new and still the highest rated show is pretty impressive. But obviously, a lot different level than being ahead of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You know, FXX, I think's where the Simpsons moved too.
Oh, really?
Um, so that would make sense, of course, because
Yeah.
Simpsons not that popular anymore. Let me look that up. But there is yeah, FXX. I don't know if it's new ones. I can't remember. But yeah, I think that's a pretty popular channel.
Yeah.
Or they got a lot of cool stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think Archer's there,
Oh, okay.
and I think Sunny is also there. I don't know. Reruns, anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. I can't remember. But yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Um, but that's all I had. So if you have any corrections, question, or feedback, you can, as always, send it to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. You have any news this week, homie?
Let me see. I think so. Let me look through. Nope.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, it's going to be light this week for that. I don't have anything either, but I guess we could talk about a couple of things from news for last week since you've watched some of it now. So, what are
Yeah.
your feelings on, we'll start with Unreal. How do you feel about the Unreal Engine 5?
Wait, can you repeat that? It cut out for me for a second.
Oh no, you're good. I said we could start with Unreal Engine 5 and what your opinions are on that.
Um, it looks great, but then you got to remember this gameplay is like an advertisement for their engine,
Yeah,
and it's not even a game. It's like a I don't even know. So I get that it's a game or whatever, but so that means that one level is the only thing you see, and they could have had thousands of people working on that one level, going over the tiniest little details. So I kind of tampered my excitement because of that. Just because, I mean, it looks great, but what kind of game companies are going to put that much effort into each level? You just wouldn't have the man or time power. And I did like the focus that they've got some stuff in place to help the smaller teams, so you don't need 1,000 people to work on it to make it look great. But yeah, that's my feelings on it. And then the after interviews that they did with the people it wasn't cringy enough to keep me interested, but still cringy enough to be like, why are we doing this? Hello.
oh, whoops,
Uh,
I had it on mute. I was talking, I'm not talking the whole time, but I was listening to you and interacting. Um, I try and put it on mute when I cough, so that way I'm not clearing my throat every 2 seconds. But yeah, I definitely agree that normal developers are not going to put that much time and effort into it, and you're getting your best look at it. And I didn't say it last week, but that is true. It's kind of um, like a car show where they're unveiling a new car. They're obviously going to show you its best possible case and advertise everything or a car commercial. So yeah, I get that it won't do that, but I feel like the potential that it has is what's so promising. And even if people don't do that and just do, hopefully not, but the bare minimum on it, the bare minimum will probably be a lot better than what we have now. So I feel like what is there is still really promising. And I didn't use the analogy you did last week, but I feel like I definitely touched on that. Like when they said there will never be texture pop-ins again. I feel like that kind of stuff. That's like the sale pitchy thing. That if that's true, that'd be crazy. But I feel like that's just too good to be true. And I feel like they probably emphasize that because they know that historically their engine is known for extreme texture pop-ins and all that. So that kind of stuff, yeah, I feel like they're definitely playing up. But I feel like it does have a lot of potential to be something really cool.
for sure, man. And these guys are more than certain millionaires many times over.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like he could have afforded a table for that fucking thing on the floor. That was so ridiculous. Why was it on the floor?
And his quality is so bad. You're talking about the Van de Graaff that he had. The quality is so bad. I was like, is this thing even in his room, or is this a green screen, or what the fuck is happening here?
That's another good part about building the Browns too. Is all these guys keep using green screens. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of ready for this Corona shit to be over.
Oh, me too, pal. Um, and then you touched on it earlier. What are your full opinions on Ghost?
Uh, my excitement level stayed the same, and then I kind of saw the looting where he was like on a course and just grabbing shit. And I get it's a video game, but my mentality up to this point, everything we've seen about Ghost of Tsushima, especially the launch or the first announcement of it, was very cinematic,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like this took it to another. It made it. I understand they had to have this stuff, but it was like, oh shit, this is a video game where he's like grabbing materials and looting stuff. But I get you had to have that stuff in video games.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I really liked about the trailer, though, that kind of bounced out for me was the different types of armor having different benefits to
Oh
your
yeah.
play style. Yeah. And I really didn't like the collector's edition. It didn't look that cool. Um, but yeah, I think it looks cool. We'll see. I thought there'd be bigger battles too, because like you
Yeah.
think of the Mongols, you think of these like vast hordes of soldiers, but it was almost like a Far Cry thing where it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, 8 guys and a fully armored guy sitting in this base. Take them all out, and then you
Yeah.
own the base.
Um,
So I kind of went to like Dynasty Warriors almost. Like I thought it'd be something like that. Bunch of enemies.
Yeah. How do you feel about the guiding wind thing where it shows instead of like a marker on the ground, you see the wind blowing, the grass moving, and know that you're supposed to go that way?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I did like how they had some aspects of where their focus was um, showing or kind of almost keeping it cinematic for you while you
Yes.
played
This,
without having arrows and shit like that.
that's what I was gonna say. If you're looking for a cinematic, I thought you'd like that a lot, and I do think it's a really cool idea. But I feel like it could go wrong. I feel like cinematic, you can only go so far. Kind of like you said that it still is a game, so it's gonna be a thing like that no matter how hard you try. And even with the wind, it's a cool idea, but I feel like it's going to be real obvious, or it's going to be turning into something that's frustrating and takes you out of the experience more than like, oh, the wind's taking me here. I feel like if it's not very obvious, you're going to have to concentrate on it real hard and then take you out of the experience more than just a marker would.
Yeah, for sure. I did like how you kind of go up on the mountain and you could see shit burning in the
Yeah,
distance. And, okay, let me go check out why this is on fire.
yeah, that was another thing. I feel like games always sell that, and maybe this one's selling it too, and we haven't seen it. But I feel like games always sell that and be like, and then you can go there, and you can, but it's a lot different than they show, and at least the way they've shown it so far, it seems like you actually can go to these places that you see off in the distance, and that's not like some gimmicky thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they're on a very thin line, or I don't know. It could go either way.
yeah, I know. I told you I forgot to mention it last week, but I thought the black and white mode they added is a really cool idea. I don't know if I'll play that way because the art style is so beautiful that I don't think I want to take it away, but I think it's a really cool idea, and I think it's cool to have it open from the beginning, so that way, if it is how you want to play, you don't have to beat the game and then go play it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, did you look up the? It's just really quick, but the PlayStation Studios.
I did. I
What
did.
What do you think of it?
It was cool, but I don't. It's almost unneeded because I mean, if you're playing those games, you kind of know. But it also kind of puts everybody under the same umbrella of like when you watch a movie and it's different people making it, but it's the same company,
Yeah.
and you kind of have those intros to where you're like, oh, okay, this is because Microsoft has one, right?
Hmm.
Microsoft Studios.
Yeah.
They have their little intro, but it almost felt dated in many ways too. Did you get that vibe?
I didn't.
Like it,
I didn't feel like dated. I just felt like it said like a rip off. Like it was. I felt like it's identical to Marvel, but at the same time, I feel like that's for a good reason. I feel like when I see those logos, everybody's just oh man and gets all excited, and that's for the reason like you said that it's different companies and all these things coming together, but you know that it's that. So that's why I feel like it is a it seems silly, but at the same time, I do feel like it's meaningful. And you're talking about Microsoft. I think theirs is Xbox Game Studios now. They changed it, but yeah, I feel like it just kind of brings it together. And I don't know if you listen to the newest Sacred Symbols. They're talking about it, and I guess I don't even remember this. I want to go back and watch it. Push Square, the website they always reference, said that Sony's obviously been testing this for years because if you go back and watch the Ratchet and Clank movie that nobody saw, is how they put it, but we saw it and I thought it was really cool. They said that there was a version of that before the movie, which I don't remember, but
oh,
it makes me want to watch that and said that they're testing it, which even if they had in there, I don't know if that's true. It was a test. They might just put it in there and then be like, oh, we should reuse that. But they also said that Sean Layden from PlayStation said that, or not Sean Layden, he left. God, I can't remember his name. Somebody from PlayStation said that I think this is cool and not cool. That it would change depending on what you're playing. So if it's Uncharted, then the whole PlayStation logo would be like different scenes from Uncharted, which I think is cool because that I think it's cool. That it's like a changing thing and dynamic. But I feel like
hmm
that's what I feel like at the same time it's kind of the opposite of cool because I feel like that's what made it kind of awesome is that it brought all their characters together and you see it no matter what game you're playing. I feel like you play Uncharted and you're just seeing Uncharted characters and you're like, yeah, I'm still playing Uncharted. felt like it was cool because it brought all these main characters together, kind of like a Smash Bros or something.
Yeah, most definitely.
Um, let's see, any gaming pickups for you guy?
Um, yeah, I had a Ryan had given me a housewarming gift, which was his video games from when he was a kid. He didn't want them anymore,
Uh huh.
so I have the bag, but it's somewhere in my game room. So maybe when I get stuff organized, I could go through all of them. Um, but they are the most well taken care of games I've ever seen. Like it feels like they were just taken out of the wrapper. Um, but yeah, I was really shocked that he did that, and it was very nice of him.
Is
But
there any good games that you noticed?
yeah, it's actually like all like mainstream games.
Oh,
And honestly, if you put these up on eBay, which I won't, Ryan, I will cherish them. Um, you're probably like I don't know, like $100, $200. Like it's like the big Mario games and some bigger 360 titles.
wow, Ryan used to play real games, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They're so well taken care of that he might have just these might have been like Christmas gifts and birthday gifts, and he just put them on a shelf. And
He's like, what
like
the
you know how
fuck is a
360
Mario?
cases get those like little minor scuffs and stuff all over them.
Uh huh.
These things look like they're right out of the wrapper. But yeah, they got mixed in with unfortunately during the chaos.
Mm-hmm. Anything besides that?
No,
No.
no.
None for me this week either. I don't know if you saw. I meant to send you a text. Colin said that the physical versions of Sacred Symbols are shipping out, so we might be getting those soon.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, but I didn't buy anything this week. Have you? Well, I know you played a little bit, but I know it got cut off. So what have you been playing this week?
Let's see. Let me scroll through my notes here. Um, Dragon Warrior. Playing more of that. I kind of hit the grindy moment where I got to just. This games are really big into grinding, but I usually just throw it on while I'm watching something, walk around, and fight
Yeah.
stuff.
So you can say it's
Uh,
Dragon.
hey, but it's real simple. It's not like I know this is, they kind of say it's like the grandpa of RPGs and Pokemon and all that shit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's simple. It's simple and easy to learn, and you know the gist of it. Where it's like Pokemon, it's like you're focusing on what types. I know Dragon Quest gets a little more complicated as you go through the series. My only issue though is you have to follow a guide. You know how those old RPGs are.
Oh yeah.
They're absolutely ridiculous, especially the version I'm playing is like SNES graphics, but I think it's like the vocabulary and shit from the first one. So they try to use old English.
Oh yeah.
It's so ridiculous. So say you have to like go find an instrument somewhere and bring it to this guy. It's like I'm not even. This is gonna be cringy if I try to describe what he says to you, but it's like the old whistle of the north and shit like that. You're like, the
Uh-huh.
fuck does this even mean? You gotta watch a YouTube video and all that shit. And then each day I was sitting down playing a half an hour Sunset Overdrive before work, whenever I could fit it in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about 2.5 hours into the campaign.
Okay.
I know you're playing it as well, right?
Yeah, that's I think we decided after the podcast, we talked after we got off of here that we're gonna try and pick a game every couple weeks or so to try and work through so we can get better at doing our backlog. And we decided Sunset Overdrive as a game to play separately, and then Anthem as a game to play together, which is obviously gonna be delayed because what's going on with Cody. But that's our plan. So yeah, I probably played about the same amount actually.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Ghost of Tsushima and the way that they show objectives, I like how Sunset Overdrive's done it. They've done it with like neon signs
Mm-hmm.
and directing you. You don't feel like you're really getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it kind of feels like a better version of Crackdown. Do you feel that? Feel very similar, like gameplay and objectives.
Yeah, definitely. That's I told you in text I was curious to see how you felt about it. I feel like we feel very similar about a lot of things. I feel like it's a more polished current Crackdown, which with I never played this, but kind of like Saints Row mixed in there with the ridiculous stuff. And
Yeah.
then what I really felt that I thought you might think this is gonna
Jet Set
sound.
Radio.
Oh no, I could see that, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
weird that you said that because I was gonna say like late PS1, early PS2 game, and the way that's so ridiculous and does not care, is not taking itself serious at all. Almost kind of like a Tony Hawk. It's weird, and even especially the grinding and everything in these worlds. So this all feels dated, but not in a bad way. Like what made
Yeah.
those games good. Like just realizing that it's a fucking game and that not everything has to be this work of art and all these fine details and everything. Which I'm glad there's games like that, but that's why I hate when people always compare something to everything like that because I feel like you need a mixture of it. I love those kind of games, but it is nice just to be able to play something about this game does not give two shits about anything serious right now.
Have you got to the arcade yet? The Chuck E.
Yeah.
Cheese ripoff?
Uh huh.
I love that area, man. I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time just looking at shit in there.
Yeah. Um, I was bummed. I thought, especially being Insomniac, I was like, there's gonna be some Easter egg in here. Like one of these arcades is gonna be Ratchet and Clank or like some 8-bit version of one of their games. And I was sad that none of them are playable. But no, I think the
Yeah,
area is really cool.
yeah, and it's just simple. It's like you don't have to learn anything too crazy and just play.
Yeah, I think right off the bat it shows you how ridiculous it's gonna be. I don't know if you noticed. I was actually laughing out loud. The first achievement you got, did you see right after that? Like literally a second later, you got another achievement, and the achievement was for getting an achievement.
No, I didn't notice
I was
that.
like, wait, what the fuck? How did I get another one? And then you look at the description, it says get an achievement. I was like, what? That's fucking great. Um, but yeah, there's that's I feel like the only real way to describe it. It's just a ton of fun and really ridiculous. I'm not sure how much mess with the character creation, but that thing is fucking.
Oh
I don't know which route
yeah.
you went. I was debating between making it as horrendous as I could and try and make Taylor Swift. So I went with Taylor Swift, and they don't have the options really to do it. So she kind of just looks like over the top, attractive blonde hair girl, and then um, they let you get real ridiculous with it. I was like, oh, I wonder how little clothing she could have. And then you can, I don't know how much you mess with it. You can let her put bra and panties on. And I was like, what the fuck? This game is
Yeah.
so ridiculous. And then, so she's less like beautiful looking girl, but then you can at any time edit the character. So I made her the biggest guy because there's two versions of girls, a smaller one, a bigger one, and then a big guy and a bigger guy. And you can
Hmm.
scroll, and I made her the biggest guy, but she keeps all of her features from when she was a girl. Now this is a nightmare. Everything about this game is so ridiculous.
That's fantastic. I uh I went the route of I've been going through a wrestling kick,
Oh yeah,
so I tried to create the Big Show, which doesn't work. I was hoping at some point I'll be able to unlock some like leotards or something like that. But yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, I'll just show you my character and how opposite it sounds of yours. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's also like any open world game, but especially games like that, like Crackdown and actually, ironic enough, Spider Man because it's Insomniac as well. Kind of game that's fun, but the more you get into it, the more fun it gets because you get more mechanics and more weapons. And the weapons, I feel like, especially, are going to expand a lot because Insomniac is known for making crazy weapons, whether it's Ratchet and Clank, Resistance, all these are that's like their go to is crazy ass weapons. I'm sure you remember those fantastic Ratchet and Clank commercials they used to put out.
yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like it's only going to get better and it's just a lot of fun.
Especially remember the armed and dangerous ones. You
Yeah.
remember those?
Uh huh. I just forgot those
Yeah.
commercials existed till I just said it.
Do you what do you feel about the record gun where it shoots like LPs?
Um, it's funny you said that. I didn't know if I was using it. I'm guessing your thing is not very effective.
Yeah, what I feel like I'm missing something with that.
Yeah, I don't know if you're supposed to. I was trying to test that last night, actually. I don't know if you're supposed to like ricochet them or what. I'm killing people with it, but yeah, there's times it's the crosshair's red and I'm just shooting them. What's happened? The person is still just standing there.
Yeah,
which is weird because all
yeah.
these other weapons are so fucking crazy and cool. But yeah, and that one seems cool. But yeah, it seems like there's something missing.
Yeah, there's
Um,
a lot of aspects to it, like jet set,
yeah,
uh, radio mixed with crackdown, and then you get some like um, oh gosh, this is funny. These are all Xbox exclusives. Or the one jet set radio was, but uh, I'm blanking on this. The zombie game,
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Like the story and the that's like the almost where I really got the feel of it was on the train where the nerdy guy tells you to build a weapon. And I was like, oh my god, this is very similar.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Um, what was it? Oh yeah. Have you? You have to buy at the store. It's not really a spoiler. It's just a weapon. Have you got the Roman candle gun yet?
No,
Oh, you should buy that when you see it. It's not very much, and that's the funnest gun I've used so far.
really, okay.
Yeah. Because I don't think it unlocks every weapon for you. I think you're gonna have to buy some, so you should make sure you look at the stores.
Um, See, I haven't been doing that.
Oh, there's. Have you not been to closing stores either?
I did the clothing store
Oh,
once
okay. I was gonna say you
with
might have what
the
you're
Chuck
looking
E.
for.
Cheese lady.
Yeah. Um, it's kind of weird. It's not like most games where you find a new part of the world and then there's a new store. There is different stores around the world, but it's the same person. And I guess it's kind of cool, but it's weird at the same time. Once you find that the new location of that person, they'll sometimes have new items. But then if you go back to the first one you went to, they'll also have the new items. So it's kind of just like a
Oh,
connected shops throughout the world.
what are you buying?
Yeah. Um, what else was I gonna say about it? Oh, this is kind of a spoiler and a really funny part, so I'll try and ask you without spoiling it. Have you got to the part where you're in the helicopter and
No,
oh, you haven't?
no.
Okay, I won't spoil it then. There's another part I was actually laughing out loud at. So when you're in the helicopter, make sure you have your I'm sure you already do, but your sound up and like listening to the dialogue of what happens.
Okay, I'll do that.
Without spoiling it,
I think
I
that's where I'm heading
oh
next.
really?
That's what. Yeah, yep. I just got
Yep.
the piece, the
Okay.
propeller.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's without spoiling it, it was the first time I thought the game was about to get serious, and I was like, oh, damn it. And then it's just even more ridiculous. I was, this is fucking great.
I'm excited.
Um, have you been playing anything else, though?
Uh, no,
No?
nope. I was gonna play through. My plan was actually to come home and play through the first half hour of Anthem, so I was ready to do co-op, and then
Oh,
I found out about the water.
yeah.
But I think with the current setup, I could use these two kitchen chairs and put my PS4 and Xbox One up here
Oh, that'd
and
be
hook up to my
cool.
computer monitor.
Yeah, because I am, can't wait to play Anthem and try it out together.
It's kind of been a blessing in disguise too, because now Renee, my girlfriend, is kind of giving me the liberty to choose whatever carpet I want for the game room,
Uh huh.
and gives me a chance to redesign it. And I should have not bought these shelves, but I did. Um, they're like the only DVD shelves I could find, and they weren't the greatest. So now I can actually build shelves and replace the carpet with stuff. So it's kind of cool because I can redo the game room,
Mm.
but it'll probably be set up like this for a while. So that's why I don't mind bringing up the Xbox and PS4
Yeah, that makes
in
sense.
this. But I have like a million cords going everywhere with a puppy,
Yeah.
and those motherfuckers love to chew on everything.
Uh
It's so
huh.
bad, and they have the worst needle teeth too. Run up, grab your ankles, and
Uh huh.
bite you. But yeah,
Nice. Um, so for me, besides Sunset Overdrive, I finished Deliver Us the Moon, that game I talked about for a few weeks now, and I think it's definitely worth playing if you have Game Pass. It'd be a little hard to recommend if you have to buy it, but it wasn't really the ending I was hoping for. It was kind of a game that I was hoping it'd be like something crazy happens, and it's just an interesting story. Nothing really happens in it, and the but the art style, the sound design, just all that kind of stuff is so cool, and haven't seen it in many games. But then there is just, like I said, not much to it, and That's ironically runs on Unreal 4. And there's some parts that game just fucking stutters and just like stops and does some stuff, but it's hard to tell sometimes you're in space, so it's like zero gravity. But then you can tell the game's just literally going that slow and it's not the gravity. And it really messes you when it's a space game. So there's some real jankiness to it, even though there's some really cool aspects to it. But like I said, since it's on Game Pass and you don't have to spend anything to play it, I think it's worth trying. And there seemed like you were interested enough to try it.
Yeah, most definitely. I like the premise.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Um, Besides that, played some more Call of Duty Warzone. We had another virtual game night, so we played some Jackbox and Use Your Words and those kind of dirty trivia games. That was a lot of fun. Like you said, I started Anthem, but I've only done the single player portion, so we can play co op together. Played some more Destiny 2. Again, had a ton of fun. Again, I feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and don't really understand the game, but for some reason keep having fun with it. Um, we worked through our off season of Madden and are on our third season now. And I started out 1-0, and I was really excited. Felt like everything was going well.
Hmm.
And then we were advancing to the next week, so that way we could go to week 2. But Madden glitched out and advanced to week 3. So it gave me a loss and gave Aaron and Trevor both a win. So I was sad because I wonder how long I could stay undefeated. Well, there's my answer. One whole week. But that Madden's always fun like that. So we'll see what happens, and probably just gonna be another crazy finish. See if I can make the playoffs, which is sad. Um, but besides that, that's all for me. Have you been watching anything? Well, I know you watched something, but
Yeah. I watched. I just been going through Roseanne. I got through like a season and a half.
hmm,
Um, Going back rewatching the whole series.
nice.
Lost. I got to the season finale.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. And then I at Goodwill, somebody had like has their whole Kevin Smith collection pretty much. So I just bought them.
Mm-hmm.
Clerks and Dogma, all those. So I decided to watch Clerks again. It's been a while since I watched it, and as a kid, you're like, man, these guys are kind of losers. But because I think maybe the last time I watched it was when the second one came out. So what was that, 2007 maybe? It's been a while.
Probably, yeah. Wow.
But the older the older I get, the more relatable Dante is, which is the main character. I was probably relating a little too much with him, as sad as that is. But yeah, that's the only thing I really watch besides some YouTube videos here and there.
Um, so a couple things before we move on about Kevin Smith and his movies. What's your favorite movie of his?
Oh shit. Um, I hate to be cliche, but maybe. Damn. Let me look at the whole collection again. Kevin Smith. It's definitely gonna be an early on one. Immediately my mind goes to either Mallrats or the first Clerks. Clerks 2 wasn't that bad either. Um, Dogma's decent. But yeah, Goodwill Hunting. Was he a producer on that, right? I don't think he was actually directly related.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Um, uh, so I don't think you could count Goodwill Hunting because that would definitely be probably number one. Um, okay, I got to go with Mallrats.
Mallrats.
Or Clerks. I can't tell. Can't choose.
Well, you're gonna hate me. I fucking hated Clerks, and I was so excited because I saw Jane Silent Bob, and I love Mallrats, and Dogma I thought was pretty good. Jane Silent Bob is my favorite. I think Mallrats is second, and I was so excited for Clerks. I don't think it helped that it was in black and white, but even the second one I did not like. So I don't know. There's just something missing for me with those movies.
Really?
Yeah, I could maybe watch them again, but I wasn't that young, and I fucking hated them.
That's yeah, man. Maybe if we wanted to throw in some of his weird stuff for me, maybe Zack and Miri, like a porno or Red State was kind of his like goofiness. Kind of went away. He did something serious. Have you seen
Uh,
either of those?
Yeah, I saw Zack and Miri. I didn't like that at all either, and I was really excited for it.
um,
So I
what
guess
was that
he's.
other one where it also got ripped off, but then the the one that supposedly ripped him off actually did better. It was like a cop movie with Tracy
Oh,
Morgan.
yeah. Was it Cop Out?
Yeah, I think it was Cop Out. Yeah, Cop Out.
Yeah.
But there's another movie that came out because he had taken this idea to the company that made the knockoff.
Mm-hmm.
Is my understanding of it, and then they're like, "No, thank you," or they eventually turned him away, and then he made Cop Out, but then they also made um, their own version of it, and I think it ended up being more successful than Cop
Oh,
Out.
really? I just thought Cop Out was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think he
Uh,
talks about it on the Joe Rogan interview. Cop Out, knockoff, because it's let's see, I'm trying. That's gonna bug me to. Oh God, just keeps bringing up the knock doc scene. Um, Similar movies. Perfect. Oh, is the other guys?
oh, that I guess I'm gonna fall right into that trap because I thought that movie's fucking hilarious and definitely better than Cop Out.
Yeah. Oh no, most definitely.
Like I said, I like Cop Out.
Yeah, the other guys. That's what it is.
You know that
Uh,
that movie has a scene I laughed hardest at in any movie ever. I've told you that.
oh shit.
Um,
Yep.
I I can't think
So
about it
that's
too
it.
long or I'll start laughing. I'll replay it in my head. Have you watched Jay and Silent Bob 2 yet, or the reboot? I guess.
No, I was actually. You said, well, fuck it, man. I just. It's kind of weird because these DVDs and Blu-rays are out of print. So anybody out there, if you find Dogma on DVD or Blu-ray, it's worth picking up because for some reason most of shit's out of print. Um, Especially the Dogma Blu-ray. If you see that, you definitely want to buy that. Even if you don't plan on watching it, you could sell it on eBay for a decent amount. And it's hard to get shit on streaming
Hmm.
for some reason as well. I think there's like something behind the scenes happening. I could see a box collection of all of his stuff. I don't know what they're doing, or a streaming, some streaming sites.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if he's waiting for shit to lapse. So since I picked up all these DVDs, I was like, man, I might as well just rewatch everything before I watch the new one.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I wanted to watch. I wanted to see when it was in theaters, but it didn't last so long at all. And then I loved the first one, so I wanted to watch the new one, but I haven't seen it yet.
I think Fathom actually got the publishing rights for it.
Oh, really?
That's why it didn't stay long. And he actually, it kind of sucks because it did here in Columbus, but it sold out quick.
Oh, yeah, I
He
saw
was
that.
actually, yeah, he was touring with it.
Yeah, do you see the prices for that though? For actually, like,
Oh God.
I think the minimum was $200. I was excited. I was like, oh, I'll spend like $50. That's still fucking expensive for a ticket, but I was like, if that's included, that's kind of cool. But yeah, I couldn't do that.
um, yeah, Dogma's all over the place. Somebody bought a new one for $120, and then looks like somebody had put a bunch of Dogmas up here without realizing what they were, and they sold pretty cheap. But someone really lucked out. Someone bought all of theirs. They put up
Oh,
four at
yeah.
once. Um, but yeah, it looks like the Blu-ray, if it's new, it's going over $100.
Jesus.
Open is going for like 70 to 80.
Hmm.
So if you see Dogma on Blu-ray, pick it up. I think even the DVD is worth it. Um, that's the copy I have, unfortunately. Let's see. So I don't know what's happening with this movies. Why this is happening, and they're not really streamed anywhere either.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they're like waiting for. I could see a box collection with all of his stuff because he has like his nights with Kevin Smith or whatever he calls him.
Yeah.
Um, so it looks like it depends on which version of Dogma DVD you have. Some are like 20
Gotcha.
bucks and some are like $2.
Uh huh.
But yeah,
Um, I was texting you. You said you also watched all those pizza documentaries we talked about a few weeks ago.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have notes for those too.
Oh no, you're good. I just want to remind you.
Yeah, Scott's Pizza Tour. So, I love collecting stuff
Uh huh.
and hearing about people's collections. But I gotta be honest, during this flood,
Yeah.
I literally looked at Renee and I was like, I'm selling all of this. I'm selling every last bit of this. Because that's how close I was to losing all of it. And thinking like, why the fuck did I put this much money into this stuff and it's just getting ruined? Um, but after like a day and a half, even when I said it, I was like, I don't mean it.
Yeah.
But like a day and a half later, I was like, eh. But so him just seeing his collection and hearing about him collecting stuff, even if it's something as simple as a pizza box,
Hmm.
it sounds like, oh, it's just like other people are interviewing, like, oh, that's just trash. I've heard that 1,000 times. Like, Cody, you're literally collecting trash, like food containers. But I'm like, yeah, but it has a wrestler on it. We got to keep it. So I get where he's coming from, but he also makes me tired. Like, he is just fucking constantly going. And he's incredibly positive and encouraging. So he just seems like a really nice guy.
Uh-huh.
But he also is very honest. Like when the lady got in the way of the the literal trash on the side of the road. I don't know if you noticed this or not,
Uh-huh.
but she stepped in front of the camera and he's like, "Oh, you gotta move, you gotta move." So I enjoy honest people instead of being like, "Oh, excuse me" and stuff. He's like, "Yeah, you gotta
Uh-huh.
get out." Like he's so
Yeah.
excited about fucking trash. He's like, "Oh, see this one here." I actually talked to the artist last week and shit like that. It was just, um, I was kind of sad I watched this one first because it's definitely my favorite out of all of them.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm surprised by that.
but he also, it didn't help that I watched Clerks and this because Clerks I was relating with Dante, and then I see this guy and I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I'm doing nothing. And I think ending's really great when he's talking about following your dreams and shit.
Hmm.
And I really enjoy the quote of never finished a business plan and focused on short-term goals. I think that's what he said.
Hmm.
Because I think if you're thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna quit my job and do something, like when I was focusing on like eBay stuff right now, you're so focused on the plan that you never actually do it.
Hmm.
Like what's that saying? Life happens while you're planning.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more deeper meanings to this documentary than fucking pizza.
Oh no, definitely. Yeah, that's I don't know if you remember, that's why I said I felt like the other I don't have the names in front of me now, but the one about the well, you have the names in front of you. What are the other two?
Um, shit, I don't know if that got deleted or what. I'm not getting that pulled up here.
Oh, really?
Hang on, I can pull them up though. Let's find it on this document here. Okay, here we go. Oh, nope, that's not it. It just literally says pizza documentaries. That's not the titles. It is going to take me a second. We're getting close, so I can tell. What the hell? I feel like it jumped back really far. No, here we go. Fuck, dude. We talk too much. This thing.
How dare you?
Okay, here we go. Steve Pizza Stores. The best thing I ever done, and the guy who survived in pizza for 25 years.
Okay, so his name is Steve or is it Scott?
I think it's Scott. I don't know why I
Oh.
said Steve in that thing.
Did I maybe type Steve because you did say Scott earlier and that sounded right?
Yeah, I think you might have. Yeah, it's
Oh.
Scott's.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that sounded why I would type Steve.
He's got a perfect Google review. I've never seen that. 5 out of 5.
Um. So yeah, that's I don't know if you remember me saying it, but I feel like this one was a combination of the other two. The guy who survived on pizza was just so ridiculous and silly, and then the best thing I ever done was like a touching, like serious kind of thing. And I thought the same thing about this one, that it had silly aspect to it, but it had
Mm-hmm.
like a deeper meaning. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. That there was some stuff that like, this is just so ridiculous. I'm like, oh, that was funny, and this is goofy, but that there was definitely more to it than just what was laid out. I I'm surprised it's your favorite though. I thought you'd like all of them, but I thought that'd be your least favorite one. So it's kind of
Really?
Yeah, because I thought you liked the guy survives on pizza most just because that's so fucking ridiculous and um, just unbelievable, and also because I thought you'd remind you so much of me that you'd find it funny. And then, like I said, you seem to like timepieces, and the other one's more of like a history kind of thing. I feel like,
Yeah,
um, and then it's
that one was
funny.
almost depressing though.
That's why I said, yeah, that's it's almost sad. It's cool, but yeah, it's almost sad. But I told you, I think I even said that for me it's hard to watch, but I thought you would like that because I feel like you like that kind of stuff. To me, that gets to me more. But yeah, the Scott's one. It's funny that you said how he exhausted you because I feel like watching it, he reminded me of me about just always not even just pizza stuff, but the energy and just always wanting to go. So it's funny that you said that you liked him, but you couldn't keep up with it because he just seemed exhausting.
Well, it's also encouraging because I feel like, oh, this is somebody that found happiness in life and
Yeah.
he quit his job and did what he loved.
Hmm.
It was just positive, man. Like I feel like I'm almost jealous of his mentality. Like I've told you that about you too. That it's like, oh, your whole house burned down. He's like, okay, we'll get through this. Me, I'm just like, what the fuck? And like you should have seen me when this flooding thing was happening. You thought the whole house burned down and everybody was dead. We need to get us out of here. And I was just running in circles, not really doing anything. Um, so seeing somebody that is just like, I feel like this guy reminded me more than that the diabetic guy.
Really? I
Yeah, that was just, and he brought up a good point. He's like, I'm eating like good pizza, actual pizza, and then the other guy's just eating like fucking frozen pizza. He's got diabetes, and he shows no signs of wanting to stop. And which I don't know, it's weird. It was the opposite end of the spectrum. That's which is why I would have started with those ones, man.
well, I appreciate you saying I remind you more of Scott because I definitely liked him more, and he's definitely more uplifting. I just felt the other guy.
The other guy's like intervention for a pizza addict.
Yeah, that's. I felt like he was just so similar to me. I feel like the way his delivery seemed more like Ryan. I was just so bland. But as far as like his actual issues, it reminded me too much of me. I was kind of scared watching it, like how how he talked about pizza and um, he's like, yeah, I'm not a psychopath. I don't eat pizza every day. I mean, I eat it. I don't eat it for every meal. And he's like, but I eat it for every day, and I eat it multiple times a day. I said, oh God, this sounds too familiar. And then when he's talking with his very attractive wife and or fiance, I can't remember, and he's clearly being a douche to her, and she's like, can you just try something else? No, I sure can't. And she's like, just try this mushroom pizza. And I don't know, this is flashbacks for me. I can't do this. And then he took a bite, and I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, I kind of like it. And I was, this isn't me. And then, oh God, and he spit it out in a napkin. I was, oh my God. And then even how he talked about it, I was, this reminds me too much of me when I'm being sarcastic with Danielle. And she was like, okay, can we just talk about this for a second? Oh God. And then he made a joke about something about the cheese pizza being delicious. And he's like, I'm being serious. Can we talk? And sure, go ahead. And I can't do this.
Well, and the way he orders too is like the opposite of how you order.
Oh,
Extra, like extra sauce. Is that what it was?
yeah, but I'm glad you said that. I knew there was something missing. It was very similar to me. That was another thing that reminded me that the extra sauce is very different. But aside from that, it was me. He said, well done, which I used to order it like that, and I still would. Just places burn it now. So I stopped doing it, but I prefer it well done. But more so the fact that he has a special pizza order, and I feel like nobody has that. And then I don't know if you remember at the end, but the pizza shop he went to, they clearly know. Oh yeah, this guy always gets the extra sauce. And I was, oh my God, I went to so many pizza places where they say this is the guy that always gets this.
I could see that aspect of it, but it's just something else that kind of bummed me out because it kind of reminded me of myself. He had that favorite pizza shop, and they uh, wasn't that the one where they got in an argument
Yeah.
over something like what the hell was it? It was like he wanted three and they gave him 2 for old delivery bags.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, that's what it was.
And he had this whole thing like he can't go in there. They're holding this like this thing against him. He's got this whole like story thought out in his mind. And I was like, I fucking do that. And he goes in like, dude, where the fuck you been, man? We missed you. And it's like that's not even how it even played out in their minds. But in my crazed mind, I'd be like, yeah, we're the biggest enemies right now. We're fighting. And it was the exact opposite.
I just also I thought you appreciate how awkward he was. Like after that interaction, they were being so nice and over the top. And all right, man, it's good seeing you again. Definitely come back. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna go home and eat this. Yeah, what the fuck else are you gonna do? And they even said multiple times, all right, man, you have a good day. Yeah, I'm just gonna go home, get this eaten. So what? Just fucking leave. What are you doing?
Oh man.
And I don't even know if you remember this, but if you do, it'd stick out. I, the part I laughed the hardest, it wasn't a part that reminded me of me. I thought you'd love it. Is when they're filming on the street at a very awkward point because you could tell right after he moved, the car would have hit him if he didn't move. And he throws out a random fact after the whole thing being nothing about pizza. And, yeah, old chapel back there. That's where Babe Ruth got married.
Oh
And he
yeah. I
just
do
walks
remember
away, and like the camera kind of aims down, and you could tell that car is 2 seconds away from slamming into him. So what the fuck is this?
that. Yeah, I enjoyed him though.
Um, do you have any thoughts about the last one? The best thing I ever done?
No, that was just like a traditional documentary.
Yeah.
That was kind of sad because I have a feeling maybe that guy's passed away since then.
It says he's still alive last I looked, but
Oh, really?
I still think it's a sad in a way, but it's kind of weird to think about because you could tell I'm like that's so depressing. That's all he's ever gonna do, but at the same time, he's happy and that's what he wants to do. So it's cool, but it's just sad to think about that, and then also puts life in perspective because you're like that's all he's gonna do with his life, but he's happy with it, and you're like shit, but with your own lives, what are you gonna do? And he's happy with just this, and so it gets too real, makes you think about stuff that's not pizza.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think that one had a lot more meaning into it as well.
And it's
Um,
fucking. I can't believe he's literally done every pizza there. I was like, that's probably that. I can't fucking imagine that. That's so crazy.
yeah, which is kind of like what happens after he passes away.
Yeah, yeah. That's you think it'd be like the family recipe moves on and the because all the it's a family business and they start doing it. But he even said that they never made a pizza. He makes all of them. This is so crazy.
There's a very similar documentary to Scott's Pizza Tours that I might have to send you. It's
Uh
almost the opposite though, because it's like take his mentality and put it into someone that feels the same about event planning and landscaping,
huh. Uh huh.
but his business is also failing, and he argues with and lives with his mom. It's not a really well done documentary. It's almost like something you'd expect like I could make with like a little DSLR, but
Uh huh.
I'll have to send you that.
Okay.
It's that's also what I was thinking about when I was watching Scott's. It's like, oh, as if that guy had. He's like doing his taxes, and he's like, oh, yeah, my business is failing, but he still has that mentality of Scott, where he's just so excited
Uh
and
huh.
um, just constant arguments with his mom, and he still hangs out with this estranged ex girlfriend. It's just weird.
God. Um. Scott was definitely likable. I think something that helped me that made me like him more that shouldn't connect for most people, and you probably didn't even notice it. Not that you, not like, oh, you didn't even notice it. I just feel like it's weird. He kind of reminded me of Nick Foligno, which I feel like, again, Nick Foligno's a really likable and down to earth guy. So I feel like I kind of
I'm glad
connected
you
more.
brought that up because I've been actually watching a Netflix series. It started a while ago. I forgot to put this on my list.
Hmm.
Um, Let me get the name of it. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's it. They just remind me a lot of each other, and I feel like that's what made it even more likable for me and kind of made me feel like I knew him. Not that I know Nick Foligno, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. The series I was watching is called Downstairs or something like that. The Stairs. Essentially, this guy got wrapped up in two separate cases of women dying by falling downstairs. So people were like, okay, yeah, you definitely murdered your wife and this other lady that you were dating. Um, it's a really odd story, and he kind of ended up adopting the kids of the first lady that died. But his um, main attorney looks and acts and sounds just like Tort.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
dude, it's almost verbatim.
Huh.
It's kind of so think of that same mentality of like when the press is interviewing him. It was almost kind of dickish.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what that attorney does. Like at one point, the one guy asked him, he's like, "So what is your client's sexuality?" And he stops. And he's like, "What?" Made him repeat the question. What does it have to do with anything? And just shit like that. I'm like, dude, this is fucking Tortorella.
Uh-huh. Man, that's interesting, but also it's made me really depressed that we're missing hockey by having a process, not having those press conferences, how fucking entertaining they were.
They're so great. We played bad. What else you want me to say? Yeah.
Um, for me, I've been watching, me and Daniel watched more Dave. We watched probably four more episodes, so we're like halfway through, and it keeps getting funnier. It's not one of those shows that have first funny episode and then peters off. It seems like it's just getting funnier, so I can't wait to watch more of it. And you should definitely watch it. I think you'll fucking love it. Um, and then there was another Mandalorian Monday, so we watched episode three of the Gallery of Mandalorian, and this one was about the cast, so it kind of went into how each of them got the roles and everything. It was interesting. And then after Mandalorian Monday is obviously naturally Taylor Swift Tuesday.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
I don't think this one's gonna be a sticking thing, sadly. But we watched. You might have seen she has a new concert out that called "The City of Lover" on Hulu and Disney Plus. So we watched that. It was a great time.
I saw it popped up on Hulu, and I was like, I guarantee this is the first I've seen it, but I guarantee Casey's already watched it.
Yeah, it actually aired on like regular ABC, but I was like, I guess I'll wait for streaming. Um, and then I watched Lost as well. I'm actually not as far as you yet. I watched because I got a little behind, so I need to catch up. But well, actually, I guess we're probably the same point because you said you're at the season finale, but you probably haven't watched the last two, right, of season two.
No, I have.
Oh, you
I
did watch
finished
it.
it. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I'm right behind you then, but I just need to catch up. And because I actually, as much as I remember of Lost, and I'm sure once I see it, I'll remember exactly, but I don't remember how season two actually ends. Which, like I said, I could tell you down to the second of season one how it ends and how it started in season two. So I'm excited to, even though I know it, and once I see it, I'm not gonna be shocked. I'm excited just to not remember a little bit of something for once and see what happens.
It's kind of weird to look at how long their seasons were.
Yeah. Um, which one were you looking at, or like what were you? Which parts were you looking at?
No, like episode wise, like 24 episodes a season.
Oh, you mean because it's a lot?
Yeah, like I think of
Yeah.
a like 16 or something like that.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think maybe later as it went on, there's less, but I feel like it's how TV used to be. There used to be a lot more. If you look at older shows, a lot of TV shows had more episodes, but I feel like it's recent now that episodes are like 15 or 16 or even like down to like 10 or something.
Gotcha.
Um, but I'm still loving Lost. I don't think I've said it to you, but I know you know it's my favorite show. But to me, I it's kind of sad to think about because I don't think there's ever be a show that I ever feel the way I do about Lost again. I know you said you were having some issue with it, and I could see that, but for me, I know maybe some shows have done it after them. Maybe some shows have even done it better, but not that it was literally the first, but I think it was the first that did it and combined everything so well with so much great acting, so many, well, not so many big names, but some big names, but also so many names that you didn't know of until Lost that became big actors because of it, or actors that were big, like Matthew Fox. I don't know if you knew he was in Party of Five, and that was a huge '90s show, and then he just kind of fell off. He's plays I almost said Locke. He plays Jack, and I feel like he's a fucking phenomenal actor and really underrated. And I don't know, I like The Walking Dead. There are shows that kind of remind me of parts of Lost, but for me, I don't think there'll ever be another show like Lost for me. And it's as much as I love Lost, it's really depressing to think about, and I hope I'm wrong. But also, I feel like TV is so different now that there can't really be a show like Lost, anyways.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just how everything's released, like there's everything just goes like straight to Netflix and watch the episodes as fast as you can. If you don't, everything's spoiled.
Yeah. No, I could see that. And I like how they're developing the world.
Yeah,
Um, like they don't know why they're there, and I almost said a spoiler because I don't know who's listening to
yeah.
this and watch it, but the the underlying question of like why are they there? What is this island?
Hmm.
That's a big reason it keeps me going.
Oh, for sure. Um, I can't wait till we can all be together, watch it again. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm sorry, my mic cut out. Damn cat hit it.
Oh, you're good. That's why you shouldn't have cats. But I can't wait till
Oh,
we can all
let's
be
not go.
together.
Oh,
Hey, get out of here.
cat's looking right into the webcam. Um,
Um, I just can't wait till we can all be together and watch Lost again. I'm missing it, and that was always something to look forward to. And then right after that, being able to do a podcast, I miss all that.
yeah, it's gonna be weird going back though too at the same time.
Oh, it definitely is, especially the podcast. I was thinking, it seems like literally another time when we would come down and get ready for the podcast. I just looked at it like it was like, see, it's this shit has made things so weird. I'm looking at it like it's like some distant memory. Look at you. But I actually do it naturally, and I realize how ridiculous all this is.
It definitely is, man. It's gonna be weird going back.
Yeah. Um, so the free games, same as last episode. You got on Xbox One, V Rally 4 till May 31st, and then dear God, you got Warhammer 4, Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr till June 15th, and 360 got Overlord 2 till May 31st, and PlayStation Plus you got Farming Simulator 19 and City Skylines. What a Both those lineups are so fucking weird. Obviously, PlayStation more so, but that's a weird fucking week in general for free games or a free weird month.
Yeah, it's Xbox definitely won this one.
Uh huh. Yeah. Um. Anything for anything else before we get out of here, guy?
Nope, that's all I can think of. My notes have been all said.
All right. I was thinking about maybe doing a solo thing tonight since you can't play games, but I think I might take advantage of trying to see if I can get the podcast uploaded and just get off here and maybe play some games. So I think I'll get off too.
Here you go, buddy.
So as always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Current Backlog. And if you have any questions, corrections, or feedback, you can send to currentbackloggers at gmail.com. Cody, your shirt has came exposed, and I don't like it. I don't like any of that. There you go. That's better. Still kind of
Yay.
rude to your hat, though. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next
Bye.
week.